at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Come for the food, stay for the memories. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, the weather will be dry and quiet. In fact, we're going to stay pretty quiet through midweek. An increase in the sunshine. Our high temperatures today in the lower 60s. A little frost tonight. Overnight lows in the mid to upper 30s. Sunshine with us on Tuesday. High temperatures Tuesday near 65 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard. Your leader.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
3-2 pitch. He struck him out. Got him looking. Hagen Smith has tied the school record with 17 strikeouts, but he's done it in 6 dominating innings. Peyton Holt in center field makes the catch. Runners don't try to score. Donay's coming home. He throws to third. Sprague Lott fires to the plate. They got him.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look at that outside the window. It's the sun, for crying out loud. Thank goodness. It's great to be with you. Doesn't even feel like a Monday, does it? You're listening to ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and the Hit That Line Now app. Phil Elson here. Good morning to Matt Jones. Good morning, C. McMahon. It's good to be with you guys today. It is a glorious day. So happy to just have some sunshine after the deluge we've dealt with. It was really cold for baseball yesterday at Baum Walker. The Hogs took care of business. They are now officially the number 1 team in the nation, according to, I think, all the polls that would have come out by now. And I'm wondering how that's making Arkansas fans feel here on April the 7th. And we've got a championship game tonight, 7:50 on CBS, right around the time that my 12-year-old son has his first youth baseball game of the year. So we'll be simulcasting youth baseball right in front of us, and the championship game with Florida and Houston, which, man, Matt, good morning to you. If the championship game tonight is anything like the national semifinals, this thing better go into overtime because 40 minutes won't be enough.
Happy Monday, March Madness. I love it. I love how it brings over to April sadness for a couple teams. But, man, Duke, Houston. I mean, first of all, it's the Auburn-Florida game, Phil. That was just what a game. I mean, just two teams battling it out. It was Auburn's the tougher team. Florida has the best player on the floor. And it's like, okay, who's going to win? The tough team versus the team that has the best player on the floor. Walter Clayton, I mean, he looked like Steph Curry out there, man. Dude was sharp. And then that second game, Houston and Duke.
Might have been the same thing about a really tough team against the best player on the floor. Kind of the same thing.
I mean, so I'm, as you're evaluating talent and you're looking at Cooper Flagg, he reminds me so much of Magic Johnson, Lamar Odom. His superpower is his vision, like the way he can pass, and like that's what you want when you're going forward, that point forward, what he's going to be able to do at the next level. When you can see lanes and pass and anticipate, and then he can do everything else too. So he was, yeah, you're right. He was a joy to watch. But the thing is too, he's a freshman. You think about having freshmen on there, and he's the number 1 overall pick in the country as a freshman. It's tough, I really think, to win this without a couple college off seasons.
Well, it's going to be a great game tonight. Speaking of freshmen and how they project into the NBA, Boogie Fland announcing that he has made himself available for the NBA draft as well.
Who has a better career, Boogie Fland or Walter Clayton? Who are you taking in the draft? Just no question. We all know who the answer is. I think Boogie's getting some bad advice, but go chase your dream.
You still keep reading that he's looking in like second round is what it looks like. I also know you put your name in the draft doesn't mean you're staying in the draft.
Fair enough.
There's advice that still can come, but that doesn't also mean that if he comes out of the draft and is eligible for another year of college basketball, then he's going to be a Razorback. I mean, we'd like to think that would be the case, but maybe that isn't. So who knows? So there's another thing to kick around. And man, Matt, this is year 11 calling the Razorback baseball games, and I don't think I've seen Arkansas so dominant in a series against anybody, certainly not in the SEC. And remembering last year when Missouri came in, they finished the series scoring 1 run in 3 games. In this one around, they literally could not keep Arkansas from scoring. Two ways to look at this series. Arkansas right now is playing, I think, the best baseball in the country. Whether they're able to continue doing that, well, we'll see. They get a really tough opponent this week on the road against Georgia. And you match that up with a team that, look, they had a couple of sloppy innings in the field here and there, but they played really well. Then the other aspect of it is Missouri may be the worst college baseball team I've ever seen in a power conference. And hey, I don't mean this like we don't want to pile on anybody like that. Well, hey, that was, you could tell, but you could even see in the 4th inning of the final game yesterday, they just weren't interested in being around anymore. They'd had enough, and there was still another 3 innings to play.
You need some type of promotion and relegation to help counter this, and then you also need financial guidelines. Like there has, like, if you're going to compete and make this be the best conference as far as football, basketball, but you got to have some rules that people have to go by, and you have to at least try. So if they're not even trying, it just then you get into this thing where they're still making money when they're not even. I don't know. You want to be competitive.
Well, that's the word. That's the word, Matt. You need to be competitive more than anything else. And everybody in the SEC football right now is competitive. Like, everybody is competitive or has had competitive seasons in the last few years. Basketball, it's tough to kind of get stuck in a rut where you're not competitive. With women's basketball, it's the same thing. Missouri, just with baseball, it just seems to be accepted. But then there's the other side of it too. Man, this team can hit, Matt. They can hit. And you know what else they can do is they can grind together really good at-bats, even in a game that they're up by 12 or 13 or 14 runs, and not throw away any at-bats and not swing at most bad pitches. That maybe you'd think about, we've been out here for 5 hours, we're already up by 10 runs, I lose a little bit of focus and go from there, and the next thing you know, you strike out and you start a little slump. But none of that happened. So, and it wasn't the nicest weekend to be at the ballpark, but it was fun when you outscore an opponent 51-9 in 3 games. And think of it this way: we said it's 3 games. The Hogs came up to the plate for 18 innings because they run-ruled Missouri on Saturday, and then it was 2 7-inning games yesterday in which they didn't have to bat in the 7th inning. They basically hit equivalent of 2 games and scored 51 runs against, I almost hesitate to say, an SEC pitching staff. There are a couple guys on that Missouri team that could succeed in the SEC, but there's too much that's going to be on their shoulders. And it's like looking for the diamond in the rough, and the diamond is buried under 6 feet of rubble.
Well, and you got to stay humble. So one thing you don't want to get is ahead of yourself. And one thing that I, former coaches and just being able to evaluate talent and see both sides of the coin. How many guys for this Missouri team could play for this Arkansas team?
1.
So that's what I mean. So So as a coaching staff and as players, and I don't think they're getting ahead of themselves or anything, but we have to keep it in perspective about the team we just played.
I think it was a pitcher they threw yesterday, Dominic Lovett. He looked like he had stuff that could fit into even an Arkansas pitching staff. But then that's what I mean. Diamond in the rough, and the rough is kind of settled under 6 feet of rubble. But they now they're number 1. And this is where, remember, there was a baseball team last year that was number 1. I forget the time of the year where they fell out of number 1. It would have been a road series loss at Alabama, maybe about the same time of the year. But at that point, it wasn't just a matter of, we know that the sky is going to fall just because it's Arkansas. It was more an idea that the team struggled to score runs, and you wondered if they'd be able to win games based off of basically good starting pitching and not too much else. And looking at Hagen Smith to lead the way, and it boiled down, you know how it went last year. They were obviously not a number one team in the country. You got to be able to be good at about everything to be number one. This team right now looks good at everything. And I know pitching, you think it's a disappointment? They've been pretty good, ranking to the rest of the conference and the rest of the country in a season and an era of college baseball, which is incredibly offensive. The pitching staff has not been a disappointment, to use that term. So they're doing everything pretty well right now, and hitting they're doing in a way that nobody else is. So how do you feel about being number one now compared to last year? Do you believe it? Did you believe it last year? Even the most dyed-in-the-wool optimist would have probably thought it's going to be difficult to hold on to this and continue winning games at that level when they were ranked number one last year. I don't feel that way about this team, about the way that they're playing, because they can beat you in a number of ways, and they can outslug a lot of teams, and that may end up being what they got to do this weekend against a Georgia team that had trouble scoring against Texas and Austin, but they put up a lot of numbers. So it's gonna test the bats, at least in a way where you probably have to score a few more runs than you needed to this weekend, like maybe not 51 in 3 games, but more than 10 or 15. And it should be fun, because going out to Georgia can be fun, and it's been a tough place to play too. Halftime on this Monday, a lot of basketball. Of course, we got the championship game tonight, 7:50, and who did I see was the favorite in this one? It's kind of tough to figure out who your favorite would be here, but Bet Saracen has all your prop bets. It's got everything you need right there on your iPhone or on your Google Android. They got the Gators favored by 1.5, minus 115 on the money line, and the point line's 141.5. Plus all kinds of other game props, parlays available at the Bet Saracen app. Works on your iPhone, Android, easy place as well online, betsaracen.com. Make sure you're within the state borders to use it. And halftime today has Mike Irwin in about 20 minutes. Connor O'Gara Saturday down south, 1:15, and lots of times for you to be a part of the show on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. That's 877-377-6963. More in just a moment on halftime.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, home of the Lewis Guarantee.
Davalon, a swing and a high drive, deep to right field. Charles Davalon out of here for a go-ahead home run. There's a high drive by Vahiba. Deep into center. He got absolutely all of it. And it's back-to-back home runs. A slider belted by Aloy. Back-to-back-to-back. It's 3 home runs in a row. Oh, my goodness.
Listen to every Razorback baseball game on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
It's that crazy time of year again, and I'm not talking about Cinderella teams and busted brackets. I'm talking about your ex making your spring break plans with your kids a mess again. Do you feel double teamed by your ex in your court order? Call me, Jackie Mock, from Off the Bench, and let's see if we can modify that order so your time with your kids can be a slam dunk. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
I got 3 lemons.
What my baby wants, my baby gets. You know that.
Oh, I wanted 12. Baby wanted 12.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Fours Grin Forsgren is hiring immediately. Forsgren Incorporated, a heritage company and premier employer, is now hiring equipment operators, pipe layers, concrete finishers, and laborers. Have experience in any of these areas? Apply now at goforsgren.com. Don't delay. Forsgren is hiring now at goforsgren.com. Don't miss your opportunity to join the Forsgren legacy. Forsgren has immediate openings for equipment operators, pipe layers, concrete finishers, and laborers. Apply now at goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Mosquito Joe, our passion is making outside fun again. One of the most popular ways of achieving that goal is with a mosquito misting system. Mosquito Joe misting systems can be installed discreetly around your backyard, patio, boat dock, anywhere you're getting bugged.
The really cool thing about Mosquito Joe misting systems is that they mist automatically every day when mosquitoes are most active. And, if I want to, I can operate the system on my phone with a super easy-to-use app.
Mosquito misting systems. Just one more way Mosquito Joe makes outside fun again.
Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
You know, there was an all-time, a major sports record that was set last night in the world of the National Hockey League.
Carlson will make his way to the neutral ice, dropping it for Dylan Strome. He and Chikrin will team up and glide through center. Right side to Wilson. Centered up. Ovechkin has it. He scores! He scores! Alex Ovechkin scores 895. There's a new goal-scoring champion. And his name is Alexander Ovechkin. He has done it here on Long Island. His teammates love him. There is but one. Alexander the Great, the greatest to ever do it in National Hockey League history.
Capitals Radio with the call. And the road crowd goes crazy for it, too. You know what's really... So this was obviously a super cool record that was just set. That was Ovechkin's 1,487th career game. You know how many games Gretzky played in to set the record? Exactly the same amount, 1,487 games. So that's kind of cool and apropos. 895 is the new record. And I remember thinking as a kid, growing up as a hockey fan, that's a record that I just can't imagine ever being broken. Because when you look at career records like this, and it's the same idea as LeBron and the points record, you realize LeBron is 52 games away from breaking Robert Parrish's NBA games played record? Longevity, the ability to stay healthy and continue playing at a high level at this age is shocking and truly amazing. And, independent of whatever sport it is, for Ovechkin to do that for 20 consecutive years and continue to play at that level for that long, makes me think, well, maybe there is somebody that's going to set a record for career base hits in Major League Baseball history or career home runs. There's some records that are out there, Matt, that are just never going to be broken. And I wonder which one of those are.
I'm glad to see that you do a little research because I did the same thing, little prep. It was a record. I wrote it, same thing. It was one of those records I thought would never be broken, and then it led me to believe what's another one of those records out there. And we all can't say Cal Ripken's streak because that's not going to be broken. But like there has to be some of these records that are attainable that will be broken. That is one of them I didn't think would be broken, and absolutely. How amazing! And you nailed it. Longevity, to be able to play 20 plus years at that high of a level. That's just wild.
Well, it's like 25 years after Gretzky last played, and think of the Ripken record too, because when Gehrig retired and was kind of forced to retire because of the disease that was ravaging his body, that was 1939, I think, and then the record doesn't get broken until 95. So it's the same. Sooner or later, nobody would have ever thought that Gehrig's record gets broken. And you know what? It did. It's the same with Henry Aaron. Nobody would have thought Babe Ruth's record got broken, and it did. So I think there are some that we think will never get broken and will. Now let's take this over to college sports. Last night, or yesterday afternoon, UConn won their 12th national championship under Gino Auriemma. All right, now that's a record for Division I basketball. And in fact, I looked at some of the other coaches that have won a lot of titles during the time that they've been around. Rod Dado, the legendary Southern Cal baseball coach, 11 natties. John Wooden, 10 at UCLA. Phil Jackson won 11 NBA championships, obviously with the two different franchises. John McDonnell, 40 national titles as the head track coach at Arkansas. But 12 national championships as a head coach in today's day and age, I just don't know if that ever gets broken. And the longevity is another reason why. Gino yesterday said something about the idea that you can't, all the other guys that retired, that got out of the game, just the fact that he's 71 and still coaching says something. All these other guys get out. You got Coach K. He's watching the game and living and dying with the Duke fans too. REM is still going, man. What's to say they don't win another one next year? I think that might be a record that never gets broken.
Man, that's kudos to Gino. I kind of tuned in a little bit for that game, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. But Gino's another one of those guys. I think Don Staley's one of those coaches that also could have coached the men's game, but they have an affinity for the women's game and doing a great job there at it.
Well, and I would not have thought. Look, I mean, South Carolina, I think, lost 4 games this year.
I didn't think they would lose by double digits.
2 of them to UConn, both blowouts. One in their own building in Columbia, which was just a few days after they beat Arkansas, and then in the national championship game. So I mean, it's not a one game kind of a thing, and that's another thing that UConn does with Gino as the coach. Man, they schedule in a way that. You don't see a lot of men's basketball coaches taking their team out of conference and going to play at Tennessee, like at Tennessee women's basketball, at South Carolina women's basketball. They do it on an annual basis. I mean, that would be the idea of same thing as Bill Self taking Kansas annually to go play at Duke or at Arkansas. You just don't see him do that. They won't do that kind of a home and home. We're always going to go do it on a neutral site. Gino takes his team into the mouth of the beast, which, man, the more you think, 12 national titles as a college head coach at any sport, with how you got to remake your roster every single season now, probably not going to happen. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Matt, what'd you think of the way that Houston came back in the final minute?
Man, you see it happen. You see people get tight. You got timeouts. You're taught. It's very important to whoever takes that ball out of bounds. That's got to be almost your best player. You can have your best free throw shoot, but your best player needs to be taking the ball out, not just anybody in that situation. I thought Duke got sped up a little bit too much there. I thought I don't say this unless I thought there was a couple blatant calls the officials missed that should have been Houston's ball, and they're just giving it to Duke. So I thought Houston had to kind of get past that. I think
the foul call on flag on the
that was a bad call. But the other thing is though that just negated the other 7 calls that they had in Duke's favor that were bad calls against Houston. So I'm not it's kind of in the wash right there. Duke folded like a cheap 10. That's exactly what they did, and Houston took advantage when they had to. When he missed that 3 and Homie got it and dunked it, I said, "Uh-oh." I said that was the moment when I started to believe for him, and they were still down 3 points.
On that inbounds player, they steal it, and it leads to the missed 3 and the dunk. I don't know if did you see there was a video put out a few days ago, which was titled, "This is what a Houston practice looks like every day." And it's all of them.
Reminded me of a Nolan Richardson practice, them doing that. We've done that. Yeah.
That's what I'd wondered. Yeah. I mean, it's basically just diving after loose balls. Coach rolls a ball out. I know teams will do this. It's not just Houston that does it, but this is what it's like every single day. And it was 10 or 12 or 13 different versions of the same drill. And they're just going after it with reckless abandon. And that's exactly what I thought about watching that inbounds play. They just created chaos and looked comfortable in that chaos too. Sometimes the sport moves a little bit too quickly for you, but even when you're used to the speed of that sport, when it's a Final Four or a championship game or your season's defined by it, sometimes it feels like it can move even a little bit quicker in the last 45 seconds when that play happened. But they looked comfortable in that moment.
I just appreciate Houston doing me a solid because I had them in my bracket. I got Houston winning. I think that Walter Clayton kid was the best player on the floor in his game. I do think this is it's still a coin flip game by Houston's nature, Phil. Houston's not going to blow anybody out. Florida's not going to get blown out. This game is going to come down exactly the same way that this Duke came down in the Auburn. It will be a 2-possession game with 2 minutes to go. It's going to be a thrilling game just because what Houston start 3 of 20. They don't shoot the ball that great. They're streaky. They like to get easy buckets. They like to get stuff off their defense, and so they kind of muck it up a little. Obviously, they muck it up a little bit, and then Florida can score with anybody in the country. So I honestly think it'll be like a 1-possession game with 2 minutes to go.
How many bruised elbows do you get in those Nolan Richardson practices?
Well, the thing, too, that I got lucky about, I say lucky, I wasn't really there for spring camp for basketball. I come in during the middle of the season. But it's definitely, there's some intense. You do a charging drill where you got to let homie come in and you got to take a charge. I mean, that's not – I don't know who you are. That's not fun, And then you got the loose ball on the ground. We got to go get it, just like your boy Omar Epps in the program.
Let's break here in halftime. We've got Pig Trail Nation's Mike Irwin coming up in just a few moments, so stay with us.
I literally would eat tuna fish by itself, dry, no mayonnaise. I did this for a whole month or two, and I kid you guys not, I lost 20 to 30 pounds. That's all I was eating.
This is halftime.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab.
C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Even if your bracket is busted, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with a free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and MMA, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Get luxury without the splurge with Taco Bell's new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. There's the $5 Classic box, as saucy as ever. The $7 Supreme box, packed with decadent favorites. And the $9 Discovery box brings new indulgences like toasted cheddar street chalupas. It's the Lux you want for less. Choose your $5, $7, or $9 Lux Cravings box only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started. Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Even if your bracket is busted, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with a free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and MMA, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Get luxury without the splurge with Taco Bell's new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. There's the $5 Classic box, as saucy as ever. The $7 Supreme box, packed with decadent favorites. And the $9 Discovery box brings new indulgences like toasted cheddar street chalupas. It's the Lux you want for less. Choose your $5, $7, or $9 Lux Cravings box only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started. Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores.
You got to go play Georgia. You got Texas coming in here at one point. You've you don't know about A&M. I don't know if they've revived themselves or not, but that kind of sits there, you're looking at them and going, whoa, what is that? And LSU is out there. But it's hard to argue against what they're doing at the plate. They lead the SEC in hitting, 335 team average. And if that number were to hold up, it would rank second all-time at Arkansas behind the 97 Razorbacks. So that's pretty impressive. Averaging 2.1 home runs a game. That's way above the record of 1.44 set in 2010. So we'll see how that goes. It will be interesting, again, to see how Arkansas's hitters match up with Texas pitching. That game's coming up on May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and that's going to be huge, guys. That's the first time Arkansas and Texas have played in a conference series since Arkansas left the Southwest Conference, and I think they played May 2nd and 3rd of 1991 at Old George Cole Field, and Texas took 2 of 3 from Arkansas in that series, so there'll be some revenge wanted at that game, and I mean, you won't be able to find a ticket for that series.
There's two ways to look at the series this past week, and it's that the Hogs didn't play perfect. There were a couple of errors, mistakes, you could say. I was impressed with the way the guys pitched, considering it wasn't the most comfortable weekend for pitching. But I also think that there's another aspect to the series there, and that's the other team that they played. And Mike, look, there's losing a series, there's playing poorly, there's being a bad team, and then there's maybe being historically bad. And Mizzou did everything they possibly could to help Arkansas out in the field, on the mound, and I say this not half jokingly. Watching them, I know baseball, you never know. That's a team that could go 0-30.
Yeah, and there are people that are already saying it may be the second worst team Arkansas has played all year. I mean, even with the midweek teams they've played and some of those weekend series they had earlier in the year. But yeah, they don't have any pitching, that's for sure. They hit the ball decently. They're not at the bottom of the league in hitting, but their pitching is just horrible. And you just keep seeing guy after guy come up, and he's walking people and he's hitting somebody, and then you load the bases, and then there's a grand slam, or there's runners on second and third, and you're driving 2 in, and it just goes on and on and on. It was just marathon watching, and it's interesting because they did all that in front of virtually nobody. Those 3 games were not well attended at all because of the awful weather, and it didn't seem to affect Arkansas. They were pumped up. They just kept coming after those guys. At some point you could just sit down and go, well, come on, we've already got this game won. We don't have to continue to score, but they just did, they just kept it up.
Hey, Mike, it was a great Saturday for college basketball. I guess we'll start with the Duke-Houston game first, Mike. Did Duke collapse, or did Houston go out there and win it? How did you kind of take those last 2 minutes of that ball game?
Well, it was a little bit of both, but when people complain about what Arkansas did against Texas Tech, how about the best team in college basketball? Because that's what Duke is. They got the best talent. They were the best team. I've told people for years that the thing that makes the NCAA basketball tournament interesting is that very often the best team in the country does not win it because so many different things can happen. And they just started missing shots. Some of it was good defense, but some of them just sometimes shots don't go down. And certain things happen, and then you end up losing a game that you basically led for about 95% of the clock time. So I enjoyed it. I wasn't pulling for Duke, but because I like upsets, but it was still hard for me to believe that it happened when it happened. And now, once again, we're going to sit here and watch a national championship game, and for me, I'm going to be thinking the best team's not in this game.
Well, styles make fights. Let's be honest. Styles make fights. This is a defensive juggernaut versus an offensive juggernaut. Who do you got tonight?
Oh, a lot of it depends on what that game took out of Houston. Are they refreshed? Are they full of energy? Or did they do everything they give? Or did they give everything they had to beat that team? I'm still going to go with Florida. They're inconsistent. but I think that game clears that loss by Duke, clears it for them to win it all. And if Houston wins it, I won't be surprised, but I'm going to go with Florida. That's who I picked in the beginning. I changed my mind as I watched the way, Duke played in the tournament, which they were just dominating everybody. And I still can't believe they lost.
So you haven't had like major upsets that people remember or anything. And I don't think you can say there's an upset based upon what the betting line is, but when there's 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four, there are no upsets anymore. But what there were really high level games. Those were really good basketball. Not all the Elite 8 games were great, but some of them were. And then the Final Four has been outstanding. And you just imagine tonight's game. I mean, I think it's a pick 'em. It's so close. I don't know which way to go here. And you don't always feel that way going into a championship game or any of the Final Four games. So what you got here without the Cinderella or an upset was just 2 memorable, really well played, exciting, tight basketball games.
You just, when you've got a roster of players, and I don't care what sport you're talking about, when they go into a big game like this, you don't know, they don't know, the coaches don't know until the game starts if they're hitting on all cylinders. Sometimes you're not. And it starts to spread, and then you're going, what's happening here? What's wrong there? Could happen to one of these 2 teams. Or they could just go back and forth, and I'm hoping it'll be a good game. There's nothing any worse than getting this far into it and having it be a blowout. And I don't think it will be. But one team could just be clicking in ways that the other one isn't, or maybe in a critical situation. It's just such an unpredictable thing, the way this happens, and that's based on, I've watched this tournament since I was a little kid, or at least they didn't have it when I was little the way it is now with as many teams, but I certainly remember back in college when they finally started expanding the field and how, you just sat each week and got excited, and you gotta win 6 games to win this thing, and those are, when Arkansas did it, each one of those games sort of contained its own drama. They were each different. But how you get to and look at the 95 team. They returned everybody, and they almost got knocked out in the round of 64 and the round of 32, and then got all the way in there, beat a really good team in the semifinals, and then just came up blank against UCLA.
Mike, you think Boogie stays? I know you can't get into his mind. You think Boogie stays in the NBA draft? Do you think any other guys, take the jump, or do you think there's a chance that he doesn't like what he hears and he comes back and plays, or like Phil said, maybe he goes and plays somewhere else?
Yeah, all of this is speculation, boy. People are going nuts over the lack of information about Arkansas right now. Just based on what I hear, and I'm not an expert, I think he is gone. I think they're really trying to keep Thiero, and I think that may be part of the holdup here because they may be planning to give him more money than they counted on to get him to stay. And if they do, it could affect other players, whether somebody goes that would have stayed or whether you don't have the money to bring in that, top 3 finesse forward or whatever you want to call him that, is looking at Duke and Arkansas. There's just all this stuff out there. I just saw one today. Everybody has these websites and they claim to be experts. And I saw one that said, Pringle, the South Carolina defensive center that gave Arkansas so much trouble. He's a pretty good offensive player too, that they predict he's coming to Arkansas. A lot of people feel like Florida State's center in the transfer portal is coming here, that Cal wants 2 bigs. One more defensive-oriented, one offensive-oriented, but that he really wants Thiero, and he thinks he can return. He spent all of this year talking about, if you look in the SEC, the teams that were doing well in the SEC were teams that returned players from the year before and sometimes 2 years before, that is the key to maintaining consistency. So clearly that's important to him. And that's why I think you will see very few portal transfers, maybe 2 at the most, and a real effort to keep the guys they've got. But I think Fland is gone.
Yeah, that's how I've understood how I feel this next team is going to be put together too. I really just think there's going to be 2, maybe 3 transfers coming in, because, and it's exactly what you would just said. I think they want Adu to stay and will do what they can to see that happens. And then, look, it's not 8 freshmen coming in and getting all the minutes, but it certainly is 4, and it very well could be 5, and they're coming. And who knows if they're part of the, I guess, rotation very early. But my guess is Acuff is, Sealy is, Thomas is, and if Ament shows up here, he is too. So look, this is not going to be a team that's put together through the transfer portal, much like it was this last year. Who knows what happens in the future after that? But I think Cal's not going to make all freshman teams, but he's still going to get talented freshmen, and sometimes 4 or 5.
Yeah, I had a question on Ask Mike. Would you rather keep Brazil? And I think they are keeping Brazil, but what's the difference between him and Ament? And Courtney of our staff, she just is adamant about that. This kid is talented. He's got to play. He's not. You don't just take him. He's got to play. But I'm sitting here thinking, I've always said this, that Brazil has more upside, untapped upside, than any college basketball player I know. I still don't think we've seen what he can really do. And if Cal can tap into that, and you had 2 guys like that along with other bigs, I mean, I don't know. You got people picking Final Four, predicting Final Four, at least Elite 8. You can never tell what happens, but you can get drunk, sitting around slobbering over all the possibilities, and then at the last minute you find out that it doesn't all happen that way.
You could also get drunk drinking beer if you wanted to. Today's National Beer Day. Did you know that? Is there a favorite Mike Irwin beer?
I'm not a beer drinker, guys. I drank beer in college, and it was Old Milwaukee because you could get it for $1.99 a case.
What does Mike Irwin drink?
Now?
Yeah, are you like a Merlot or a little cab?
I had a real drinking problem in my 20s, and when I was 29 years old, a doctor told me that I had the beginnings of a liver problem, and it shut me down. And I haven't.
You're a smart man.
I don't know when that was. That was 78, something like that. And I ever since then, I just don't drink. But I used to drink Old Milwaukee because it was $1.99 a case when I was in Denton.
No, that's Milwaukee's Best. That's
Milwaukee's Best is the
Old
Beast.
Milwaukee is Old Swill.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really, really great
stuff. It's cheap.
Oh, it's made to be cheap, and it's made to be poured out. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you coming on. Always appreciate your time.
Yeah, make sure you pour it out before you recycle the can, right? Yeah.
You can make your 10 cents on the can, and then thank yourself for not drinking the Old Swill. What's your favorite beer out there? National Beer Day today, and one of the things that Twin Peaks knows best is beer. They also love basketball. Put the 2 things together today, and you got a great night at Twin Peaks and Rogers. Signature taps, local crafts, ales, lagers, seasonals, all ready at a teeth-chattering 29 degrees, served in 22-ounce mugs. And you get the national championship game, Houston and Florida, right there on any number of television screens that are ringing all around Twin Peaks in Rogers. And they've got incredible food made from scratch fan favorites. Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks either. You can get a look online at twinpeaksrestaurant.com. More TVs, bigger screens, always scenic views, more to watch and eat at Twin Peaks. Stay with Halftime. Back to wrap up hour number 1 in just a moment.
This is Halftime.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a store card. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South C Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Can you explain the infield fly rule? Neither can I, but I can help you navigate a variety of legal issues, from divorce to personal injury to estate planning. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions, a new law firm offering affordable flat fees with payment plans available. You get an ace at the price of a minor leaguer. Now that sounds like a grand slam to me. Call Mock Legal Solutions for your free consultation. 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
Wave Rural Connect is excited to introduce our new 300 megabit internet service. Perfect for streaming, remote work, and homework for just $64.95 a month. Get no worries, cyber safe managed Wi-Fi for a total of $71.95. Order today at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. We're adding new services and expanding our areas for you. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
This is Dr. Charlie Liggett with River Valley Smile Center. We dial 782-8940.
Coach Todd Holland, head baseball coach of the University of Arkansas Fort Smith Lions. I call 782-8940.
Stay cool this summer with a York high-efficiency HVAC unit. Or for more information on endless hot water and high-efficiency tankless water heaters, give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell. Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
You know what? Like a woman, like a buffalo.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Some favorite national beer, not national beers, just because it's national beer. They're just beers. Chris says his father-in-law likes Old Milwaukee. It is kind of a, I mean, I guess it's a middle-aged beer, but it's more of a nostalgic thing.
It'd be like a Busch Light, right?
Drank it.
Yeah, but it'd be on that level, like Busch Light.
If I were to think nostalgic
Miller
beers
Lite.
for reasons that I don't know if they should be nostalgic, I would always think of Keystone Light, Natural Light, and Natty
You know
Light.
what Ovechkin grabbed? The first thing that he grabbed
Beast.
when he broke the record?
Who?
he went and tasted the mountains. Rocky Coors Light. I mean, that's he just gets in there. I think Luka. Remember when Stackhouse came and took the beer out of Luka's hand? You remember that at Dallas? I don't know if you remember. I think he was having a Coors Light. That might be the beverage of champions.
Is it the kind of thing that you're only allowed to drink the official beer of the team in the locker room? That must be it.
I think when you're the best player on the floor, they let you do whatever you want.
You should be able to. It doesn't matter if they're, they're back in the days in the NFL in the 80s, you couldn't put a sponsorship on your face. Didn't matter.
Dude, they'd light a smoke up in the third quarter back in the 80s.
Heck, they were drinking beer on the sideline, for crying out loud. I mean, that was Gatorade practically, right? Just about. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. I didn't mean to insult your Busch Light and your Natties, Ryan. It's just it brings back memories. When I think of Busch Light, I think of a roommate that I had in Little Rock who would build. He was talented at this, and I wonder how he did it. Trashed off his mind. Would build the most impressive beer can pyramids on the dining room table that I would find when I walked in from a 6-hour bus trip from Wichita. The moment I walk into the house, and there he is. He's passed out on the couch, and it was just like a whole case of Busch Light had been drunk, and there it is. It's a beer can pyramid right in front of you. Very impressive.
Nothing wrong with Busch Light. So Paula J's Natty Light. That's on there. That's what he's talking about. Very, very humble. Natty Light. I'm a Guinness. What are you, Phil? Like because if I had a choice of a beer, it's a Guinness. What's your choice?
I've got a Warsteiner in the refrigerator.
So a German beer, okay.
It's a German one, yeah. I can go with the tall boys a little bit. But
German, sometimes they get there's a fruit aroma that comes after it, like a little Christmas. I don't know if it's a lemon or an orange. There's sometimes in those beers, like
grapefruit.
Yeah, I get a little bit of that in the German beers. Yeah,
I do like that kind of stuff.
Unit, what's your beer?
I think I'm more of like a Coors Light. I just like the. I love their commercials.
Well, I want to drink Coors Banquet beer just because it makes me think of Sam Elliott.
100%. Maybe my mustache should grow just a little bit better the next time.
I mean, heck, half the beer gets lost in his mustache.
That's why it's so healthy. That's why it's the protein particles. It's healthy, man.
Oh, see, there you go. And these are do they even make this anymore? Bud Dry. JT says Bud Dry.
It went out with Pepsi Clear.
And Bud Ice used to be the official hockey beer, the NHL beer. They had those creepy commercials with the Penguins and singing "Strangers in the Night" and "Doobie Doobie Doo" and all of that. But it was. Remember the ice beers? That was a thing in the late '90s. Keystone made it, I think, in ice. There was Ice House, and it was basically just beer with added alcohol in it.
What about a Zima? Does that count?
Not beer.
It's not beer. Angry Orchard, not beer.
Well, we did have a listener text in that said Angry Orchard is his favorite. I didn't know if that was beer or not.
None of those seltzers are beer. Like that's
no, it can't be clear.
Yeah.
Zima was Zima was Sprite, pretty much.
You put an apple Jolly Rancher in there, and you got your own to something.
National Beer Day. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to have one later on because that's the only way you can celebrate not having a beer. When you have beer in the house.
About 7:58, about time they tip off, maybe you pop a top.
Why not? 877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. We'll have 3 Up, 3 Down with Dr. Charlie Liggett, River Valley Smile Center, about 20 minutes. Open segment coming up, and we are right back.
At Mosquito Joe, we're constantly looking for ways to make your outdoor experience better. That's why we always use the latest technology.
Technology? To get rid of bugs?
Well, most mosquito treatments only eliminate mosquitoes that are around when it's applied. But did you know, at Mosquito Joe, we use products that are microencapsulated, so they continue to work for weeks after our technician leaves your property.
Now that's pretty cool.
Yeah, at Mosquito Joe, we love making outside fun again. Advanced products, top quality service, and all done with a satisfaction guarantee.
Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Spring has arrived, bringing warmer days, road trips, and unpredictable spring showers. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we'll make sure your vehicle is ready for all your spring adventures. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your ride for whatever the season brings. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart, we keep America rolling.
Fishing season is here, and Jelco Outdoors has all the gear for you. The largest selection of rods, reels, and baits by Shimano, Daiwa, Lew's, Sixth Sense, ACC, Todd Huckabee, St. Croix, G. Loomis, Bobby Garland, Spro, X-Zone, and many more. Fishing clothing, footwear, and rain gear by AFCO, Grundens, Extra Tough, and Under Armour, Garmin Electronics, and much, much more. Jelco Outdoors, your fishing partner in the River Valley. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, the weather will be dry and quiet. In fact, we're going to stay pretty quiet through midweek. An increase in the sunshine. Our high temperatures today in the lower 60s. A little frost tonight. Overnight lows in the mid to upper 30s. Sunshine with us on Tuesday. High temperatures Tuesday near 65 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
Good pick.
KERX Paris Fort Smith.
The drinking all day.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. Oh, ask me if I'm all right. Well, can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
That ain't but one race back.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Yes.
Welcome back into halftime. We continue here into the afternoon, 1 minute after 12 on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. And the Hit That Line Now app brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll do a 3 up, 3 down. Dr. Charlie Liggett, River Valley Smile Center, about 15 minutes from right now. Favorite beers keep coming in. Budweiser, Red Dog. They still make Red Dog. That was one of the when they I don't know, you can't
was
call
it by
it
the Mickey's? Is that where Red Dog was?
It might have been, but you can't call it like a craft beer explosion. But that's about when Red Dog came out.
I don't think I've ever had one of those. Yeah,
I still say Sam Adams is gonna always work. A good Sam Adams will work. The Boston Lager. I don't even know if they still make the Boston Ale, but I had a thing for
that Pilsner they used to make. That was pretty solid.
But I just can't do beer as much anymore. As I get older, it sours the stomach. And like even 3 beers feels a little bit more than it did a few years ago. So, yeah, but I'll have one, maybe one or two, because there's a game to watch. I got 2 games to watch today. And how am I going to pull this off? First pitch of my son's first game ever at Real Distance for Baseball.
Ooh,
is at 7:45 tonight. Tip off of the national championship game is 7:50,
which means 8:03.
Of course,
yeah.
So it'll be once again watching a game on a phone and watching another game right in front of me, just like the Razorbacks in the Sweet 16 when I had the hockey game in front of us in Nashville.
I really think, Phil, you won't miss much in the first half. There might be some ebbs and flows, some runs, just part of the game. But the second half, I think you're perfectly fine if you'll be home to watch, because I really think this game's going to come down to the last five. Now, I think Florida could get hot and go on a 20-3 type of run. There's no doubt about that. And does Houston claw themselves back? Yeah, but maybe they don't. Maybe they don't have that type of run, which, man, they could. I just think it's going to be. I mean, if it gets above, if the score is where both teams are above 70, then I'm going to say advantage Florida.
Mm-hmm. I would say the same. Yeah, and I thought if it would be Duke, that both teams would end up in the 80s.
Man, that would have been some fireworks, huh?
Definitely, no kidding. Not in this case. Let's go to our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. The Mouth is here, a.k.a. Brent and Cersei. Brent, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great, Phil. I'm just glad to see the sun. I don't know about you guys.
No kidding. I think all of us would agree with you. If you're in the state of Arkansas, heck, if you're within a stretch of how many different states, 10, 11, 12, you're just happy the sun is out.
Hey, Phil, I'm gonna be at the game tomorrow night. I'd love to meet you.
All right, so we're going to work this out. I thought maybe you'd be at the doubleheader yesterday, but you made a very smart decision to enjoy your own home, your own living room, and watch on SEC Plus. Tomorrow night's going to be really nice. It'll be a nice day to be at the ballpark.
Let's talk a little bit about this baseball team, Phil. Let's just talk about what they're doing right now.
Yeah, let's do it. They're number one in all the polls right now, Brent. How does that make you feel here on April 7th?
I'd rather be number one on July 7th.
Well, appropriate. That's appropriate. But does it have any meaning for you at the moment right now, or is it just something that you'd rather not happen?
No, it's always special for your team to be recognized as the best in the country, for no matter how long it lasts. But my question was, Phil, do you realize how close we are, or we could, to being 33-0 right now?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I mean,
3 losses, and they've been, I'd have to pull it up, but I know there was a 1-run loss in extra innings against Kansas State. There was that was not extra. It was 3-2. Okay, so then there was a 10-6 loss against Ole Miss where you were down early, big time, and started to rally back a little bit. And then there was the Missouri State game, which they led by 5 runs in the 9th inning. So you're right. I mean, truthfully, I could buy the idea of them being 32-1 because Ole Miss kind of beat them that day.
Oh no question. But I will take 30-3 all day, every day. I'm just telling you that.
No kidding. I'll take 11 straight conference wins too. And don't look, that Ole Miss series. I think Ole Miss is pretty good. I think that's a team that very well could host. South Carolina, they can't hit. Vanderbilt can't hit either very much. They can't pitch. They just swept Florida. And Missouri can't play, but the Hogs can. So I'm believing what I'm seeing.
Speaking of Missouri, that is an embarrassment what they throw out there for a baseball team. The athletic department at the University of Missouri should be ashamed of themselves. They need to give that poor coach some resources.
Yeah, I think they're on 6. They've had 6 different shortstops. The kid that was supposed to be the shortstop had Tommy John surgery, and they've had 4 or 5 different guys hurt at that position. They've had 5 different third basemen. They lost their top starting pitcher. They're moving guys around to positions I don't think they've ever played before, and it did look like it. So it also seems like it's kind of all the events coming together at one time for a program that already was just not performing very well anyway.
Oh, Phil, didn't we sign Lovich last year? I mean, I know Ross played last year, but didn't we sign his brother?
Yeah, they did sign him, but I think he may have ended up somewhere else.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious on that. But what we're doing offensively and pitching wise this past weekend was just incredible.
It really was, Brent. It's a team that I think trusts everybody that's in the lineup, and I think that goes a long way. And that's something I wanted to get into later. But we've got Charlie here with us. Brent, appreciate you, man. We'll work on finding a way maybe to get together tomorrow before the game. Here's Charlie. Oh, I just dropped Charlie. I hit the wrong button. Goodness gracious. Error radio host here. Charlie, I forgot the button I'm supposed to push to actually put you on. I hit the red instead of the white button. So I'm assuming that's just going to be the tuna. There's who's dialing back here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Let's put him back. Charlie, my apologies, man. I didn't mean to hang up on you. It's a very rude thing to do to a family member.
No, Phil, it's not always.
We've all done it at one point, right? Yeah.
It just depends on the situation. I'm with Brent. This team right now is looking extremely impressive. I do want to see. Look, I get the whole idea, like we're playing well and all of that. I want to see what happens if we were to lose the series and how it went, and it could possibly happen this weekend because as we know, going on the road and winning there. But if they go down there and win 2 out of 3, man, it's not like I'm not sold. I'm not saying that. I just want to see how we respond to a little bit more adversity against an SEC team and on the road. And if we do lose the series, what happens? I don't want that to be something that you lose your confidence. Phil, you talked about this team and the way they're going to be judged, honestly, and we know it, is what happens at the end of the year. What they're doing now is incredible. It's special. When I think about all these guys up and down the lineup, you got guys with 8, 9, 10, 11 home runs and multiple people batting their average over 330 plus. And you got 2 guys maybe that are kind of coming. I mean, Souza's coming on a bit. I mean, Thomas is becoming more of a tough out. So Kozul, by the way, Phil, would you stop giving Kozul those cheating bats because these Vanderbilt fans are upset that he is hitting all these home runs with us. He's got these bats that are cheating, okay? There's something going on there. I know.
Oh, I think it was separating himself from Ring Around the Rosie pocket full of posy must have helped a little bit. Oh, yeah, and putting on extra pounds of muscle and
you can't improve, Phil.
Having a better approach hitting. Yeah, you can.
You can't, but you can't improve as a player. That's no such thing or anything like that. Look, the kid is playing great, and I'm proud of him. But I think the thing with this team that is so special is when you look up and down the lineup, nobody is easy to get out. And even if they got 2 strikes, and I think even with the Lloyd brothers, if one of them hits a funk or both of them, whatever, we got so many guys there, and it's tough, man. I mean, when you're pitching, you got to be on as a pitcher, and you better be really good because if you miss, they're going to make you pay. And I can't sit here and say that I remember, Phil, the last few years. Look, most of the teams that we've had the last couple of years have been based on our pitching staff. I think this team's pitching staff is good, but I think this team is just a really good all-around team. Regardless of what happens against Georgia, the main thing is continuing to get healthy. Have they said, as far as Gage Wood, any more updates on him, Phil?
I guess I'd be surprised if he's available this weekend at Georgia. But it just feels like he's slowly working his way back, and it's not bad news right now, like it was for Coyle with his injury that's going to keep him out for 4 or 5 weeks. Because Gage is working his way back. He's thrown off a mound. He's continuing to get to that point. So, I guess I'd be surprised if he's available this weekend. But you don't have to worry about that until Thursday.
No, and it's like the pitcher, Mr. T, James T, that came on here. You got to get back in, playing shape too. I mean, he's probably healed or he's healthy, but he's got to get back in that kind of pitching shape because it is different. But yeah, I'm excited to get him back, and the depth up and down this bullpen lineup, it's just impressive. Congratulations to the UConn women, by the way, just smacking South Carolina all over the court last night. I mean, just being the flat-out better team. It was just impressive to see. Excited about tonight. I thought that game, is Cooper Flag. You mentioned, Matt. I agree with you about his superpower. The kid can flat out play, make, pass, and is willing passer. Doesn't I think that's the thing that's gonna help him at the next level. Let me ask you, what kind of do you think he is more like a? I think he's a 3-4 at the next level in that range, but he's got guard-like skills. He also, to me, is not the worst defender in the world. So I think there's a lot of things to love about him. I think he's special, and excited to see what happens to him. You already see in articles he's not clutch. This kid's 17 years old. I mean, come on, the kid was unbelievable. Had a heck of a year. Anyways, y'all go.
I don't know if it's a matter of being clutch if you miss the last shot in a national semifinal, or what about leading your team to a national semifinal? To me, that sounds clutch.
I think your boy, the philosopher Kanye West, hater people have hater kids that marry. It's like that's just some people are put on this planet to be haters. And if you really look at that kid's game, can he get better at some areas? But dude, that's the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Want to remind you about Crabtree RV Center. Been serving our audience, River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, going for 75 years and counting. Every buyer gets the best experience. You'll get help purchasing the best RV for the experiences you described to the salespeople. Take you around the lot, show you everything they've got. There's personalized financing, top-of-the-line parts and service departments, everything you need at Crabtree RV or online at crabtreerv.com. We get 3 up, 3 down. Dr. Charlie Liggett, River Valley Smile Center in just a moment here on Halftime.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Davalon, a swing and a drive into right field. Back going Humphrey. Humphrey's at the wall, and it's gone. Davalon's hit his second home run of the game. Maxwell, a high fly ball to deep left. Could be trouble. Rigdon's at the wall. Get out of here. Maxwell's hit the second home run of the inning.
Listen to every Razorback baseball game on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
This one belongs to the Razorbacks.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Designed by Jason Christie, the Vuya Finesse Covert Spinnerbait doesn't just bring the fight, it dominates. Choose from 3 blade options: Colorado for maximum thump, Willow for bright flash, and the one the pros won't talk about, the Oklahoma blade. Perfectly balanced for subtle vibration, multiple flash points, and unmatched versatility. The Oklahoma blade is your secret weapon for pressured waters. Precision engineering, tournament proven, and one mission: dominate. Vuya Finesse Covert Spinnerbait, here for one thing.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Need a little extra cash? Go see Rusty at Golden Gym Pond, 310 West Center in Greenwood. Get the money you need with loans on jewelry, guns, tools, and electronics. If you're looking for a gift, they have a large selection of jewelry to choose from, and Rusty can take care of all jewelry repair. Stop by Golden Gym Pond today, 310 West Center in Greenwood, or call 996-2792. Open 9 to 5:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and 9 to 3 on Wednesday. Golden Gym Pond.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
Hey, this is Dr. Charlie Liggett at River Valley Smile Center. You may know me as your local dentist, but I'm a giant Hogs, Dolphins, and college baseball fan as well. Listen to me, Phil, and Matt talk about our 3 ups and downs for the weekend every Monday on halftime at 12:15. At River Valley Smile Center, we're a comprehensive dental facility that offers children's dentistry, dental implants, sedation, whitening, and much, much more. Dr. Cole Johnson, Dr. Hannah Cabe, and myself are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith. River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family.
Hey, it's James Teague with the Teague Law Firm. I'm excited to be back on Halftime with Phil and Matt Fridays at 12:15.
What's the equivalent like that for a pitcher to be on a heater?
When you're on a heater as a pitcher, it means that you just rear back and throw it, and it happens to go where you want it to go. It's kind of like, you just, instead of hoping for the best, you can just be really aggressive. You can throw it hard. You can look into it. It just kind of works out.
Come check out our new office at 4201 West New Hope Road in Rogers. The Teague Law Firm. If we can't help you, we'll talk baseball.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
The boss was built a dreamer. We'll fit the world in the soul's dreams have died. But tonight they're only taking thirsty people.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
On Monday here, right generally about the time you're listening to Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and the Hit That Line Now app, we have Dr. Charlie Liggett from River Valley Smile Center on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, and that means it's time for 3 Up, 3 Down.
It's time for 3 Up, 3 Down. Presented by River Valley Smile Center with Dr. Charles Liggett.
Right, 3, good morning, good afternoon, good night. What does 3 Up and 3 Down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning, strike 3.
Dr. Liggett, good afternoon. Happy Sunshine Monday. Happy sweep, and your favorite college baseball team being number 1. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Great weekend.
It certainly was. Lots of fun. And I got to give my first up to those who I parent on a near daily basis. This happened right as Bubba and I are going on the air for Saturday's series opener with Missouri. Like, the broadcast open is playing. The highlights are playing, then the sponsors start, and my daughter FaceTimes me. I'm thinking something must be going on here. I answer. She's standing right where I am right now in the home studio where halftime is delivered to you about 5 days a week, at least when I'm home. And, you know, it had been raining all over the place in Little Rock, and my house is just a little bit sunken in from the street, and there was a flood here in the home studio. As I'm going on the air, my daughter didn't quite know what to do, and I was just throw a bunch of towels on the thing. I got to go. I'll call you back. So I do the first segment with Bubba, leads into the interview segments with Dave Van Horn, call her up again. They took care of it. This is a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old that I really wouldn't trust to do a lot of things that take some responsibility.
You don't say, don't touch the stove while I'm gone, do you? Can they at least use the stove?
One of them is not allowed to touch the stove. That's exactly right. My daughter can. My son, I don't know if the house would stand. But when I got home last night after the doubleheader, everything's dry in here. It didn't smell like water. It didn't smell like mold. Nothing got destroyed. And my kids saved the whole home studio. So all that means is it justifies the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I'll be pouring in, that I've already poured into their lives and will continue to pour into their lives. Thank you very much to my two favorite people in the world. Otherwise, I don't know what I would be doing today for this show. Might have had to break out the other remote stuff. First down goes to after this would have. I wanted to watch this was after the Saturday game, so I went to an establishment that's close to Baum-Walker Stadium. And when I'm by myself, and I eat a lot by myself, I like to sit up at the bar. It's an easy thing to be able to do. There was a spot the bar might have been able to sit 8 people. Fully six of them are together in one party at the bar. And I don't think 6 people as a party belong eating at the bar together. I think that's what tables are for. I think that's what booths are for. That's what the high tops are for. And there's lots of booths, tables, and high tops at this restaurant. So, and look, I got nothing against the people. They're just having a meal together. I just feel like if I had a place and I had a policy about this, 6 people eating at the bar together is too much. It should be for 1 or 2. So that's my first down. I eventually did eat, didn't complain about it, but thought I'd bring it up.
My first down goes to Liverpool. Even though they're in first place, they're trying to get a guard of honor the last couple games. They haven't officially clinched yet, and they lost 2-3 to Fulham over the weekend. But there's still plenty points in first place. Seven games to go. And then my first up goes to the Belgium James Bond 0017, Kevin De Bruyne. What a gangster, man. If you like Kevin Durant, you like Kyrie Irving in basketball, that's who this dude is. He was player of the year in the Premier League. He's the Belgium James Bond. Get out of here. He played 10 years for Manchester City. This is his last couple games. He's leaving at the end of the year. 10 years, 16 trophies for the club.
Ooh. Oh, man. Would the Belgium James Bond defeat the British James Bond?
Ooh, is that Jude Bellingham right now, or is that Harry Kane? Who you got to give me a name?
No, I mean like a real James Bond. If it was like a real 007 against the Belgium 007, who do you think would win here?
Ooh, it depends on which one has on the skinny jeans.
Dr. Liggett, go ahead.
Okay, my first up, I got to give it to the baseball team. You guys have already talked about a lot of it, but it was great to see Fauch look good and throw well. And same thing with Kiheo Aloy getting back into it. I mean, can't say enough about Kojal and Davalon and Helfrich, all those guys. But the fact that we scored 51 runs in 24 hours, we scored in 14 of the 18 innings that we played. And but on top of that, we stranded 30 runners. So we scored 51 runs and stranded 30 runners. You want
to have some more fun with numbers from the Missouri series, Dr. Liggett? How about this? 51 runs scored out of 135 batters that came to the plate. The Hogs had 135 batters bat this last weekend. 51 of them scored. Okay,
oh my gosh,
I've never heard of anything quite like this in a 3-game series. 38% of the batters that walked to the plate for Arkansas scored. Missouri had 84 batters come to the plate. 9 of them scored. You want more? Okay, I got plenty. I love this kind of stuff. This is why I really enjoy ineptitude. The Missouri pitchers threw 210 pitches more than the Hog pitchers did. 210 more pitches over a 3-game series.
Crazy.
That's what I got. I got others, but I'm just going to leave it there. You got it down. Go.
Man, I'll tell you, the batters really, really worked the count all weekend. I mean, they went deep. Just about everybody went deep all the way through. But how about a fun drinking game idea for National Beer Day? With every time Zach Root sniffs a baseball, you take a drink.
Every time Walter Clayton scores a bucket tonight.
Yeah. Okay, so my first down. This this I've never seen. It was a Division II baseball game. It was Grand Valley versus Davenport. Grand Valley is up on Davenport 7-5. So they're up 2. Bottom of the 9th. Davenport loads the bases. They're the team that's down by 2. They got the bases loaded, full count and 2 outs. So the runner's going on the pitch. It's a wild pitch that kicks off the catcher's foot. So one guy scores, makes it 7-6. Well, it kicked off his foot, so the guy that was on second comes around and he actually scores 2 to tie the game. Well, the guy that was on first base was running on the pitch, so he was almost to the guy on second. He scores 2. All 3 runs score and they lose.
Okay. That's a new one.
Never seen three runs score on a wild pitch.
Yeah, that's a new one too. Just like I'd never heard of a guy losing a no-hitter on the final batter when the line drive hits a runner. Just like last week.
Yeah.
You're coming up with some good ones here, Charlie. All right, I got a second up. It goes for Gino Auriemma. Think about it. Maybe this is a record that might not be broken, to win 12 national championships as a head coach in college basketball. 12 national titles. I mean, who right now would rank behind him? Would it be Hurley? It's Dawn Staley probably, and I think she has 3. She needs 9 more. 9 more to equal that.
Gosh.
REM is amazing for the longevity to be able to win in essentially 3 different eras of women's college basketball. I don't know if that ever gets broken. So big up for him there. Second down, and again, you'd be like the idea of piling on and everything. Missouri baseball deserves a huge down for this, but I do enjoy true ineptitude. I've been around for some really bad baseball teams, one of them at Arkansas and then a bunch of them in the minor leagues. They're levels of bad. We just can't get a ball to go our way. You can be mediocre. That's close to bad. You can be unlucky. You can be bad. You can be terrible. And then you can be historically terrible, which I think Missouri may be. I have seen teams like this before. I've worked for them. They show up to the ballpark expecting to lose every game. And even if they lead by 4 runs in the last inning or whenever, they're going to lose because they do not believe that they can win a game. That's kind of how they played this last weekend. Now they go to play Florida this next weekend. Florida is 1-10 in the SEC. Missouri is 0-12. For some reason, the SEC network chose to air 2 of those games before the season started. So maybe a down goes to the SEC too. But this Missouri baseball, this is true. This really is. And I remember saying this after watching the Razorback football team after 3 or 4 games under Chad Morris. I said this to Ty Richardson. He will confirm it. I think this team's going to go 0-8. And I said the same thing the next year, and they did. And I'm not saying that to say that I know it all, but I think Missouri may go 0-30 in the SEC. That's my second down. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, my second down is the Manchester Derby yesterday, 0-0. I don't know what you want to call it, benign, blah, impotent, pedestrian. It looked like they had a handshake before the game, and it was like, we're just going to collect our check and go through this and go eat a roast dinner afterward. It was they look like they didn't. Nobody got it out of second gear. It was pretty. It's kind of like watching some of these NBA games at the end of the year when certain teams are already kind of in their spot and they're not really giving effort. But what are you going to do? Because my up is there's another game today, 2:00. Leicester City host Newcastle.
You're a happy man. I can hear it in your voice. All right, Dr. Liggett, what you got for your second?
The softball team with the series road win versus number 2 Florida. It's the highest ranked series win in program history. Bumping up to 28-8, 8-7 in conference. And I haven't seen the softball top 25 today, but very possibly that with that win could put 8 SEC teams in the top 10.
That's very baseball-like, very SEC baseball-like too. And now that because I don't know where Texas would rank, but certainly Oklahoma's at the top, so. You just added the best program in the sport into the league too. All right, what's your second down?
Second down is it goes to me for not fighting the weather this weekend. I didn't go to any of the games, and boy, I wasn't happy about it. But I just
you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I should. I know. I don't like going when there's rain delays because then you have to go up to the concourse, wait 20 minutes, and then if it lightnings while you're up there, another 20 minutes. And it was cold, and I just talked myself out of it. And then Sunday, I thought, okay, I'm going to do it, and then I didn't. And so I just. But hey, what a great job by the meteorologists and the staff and the field crew and all that, because that was I did not think we were going to get 3 in this weekend.
Absolutely, and I did tell Ty Richardson the other day when he was saying they're not going to get into the whole series. Look, they find ways to get these series in. You play 3 games on a weekend in the SEC, even if it looks like you can't. They find ways to get that thing in.
Have you ever seen all 3 games not be played?
A couple series since I've been doing the games. Yeah, I think at Kentucky in 2016, and then one series against Tennessee. Might have been actually at Tennessee at home and then at Tennessee on the road. That might have been the only 2. Now that I think of it, but just 2. It hasn't happened since 2017 for the Hogs, so they get their games in. I think they always will. All right, my third up is I think I saw my favorite play of the year yesterday. Vahiva Aloy at second base, Logan Maxwell batting.
3-2. Maxwell pops it up. That's near that same place where Aloy's dropped in. Knutson, Daniels going after it. It drops again. And scoring, they're going to try to score Aloy. The throw coming through. He slides around the tag, trips the umpire. We have no call. Aloy goes back to the plate. What is he? Safe. Wow.
I love it.
Aloy went on a dive inside home plate to get around Cerna's tag, and he bowled over Chuck Pack, just tripped him, took his legs out from underneath him. Everybody's waiting. What's the call? Aloy went back to home. We didn't know if he touched the plate with his fingers. I think he did. And then back. I think he may be hurt.
No, Chuck Pack, he held onto his mask the whole time that he fell down, and so he kind of cut his finger. But that was the only injury from Vahiva, literally undercutting the plate umpire, which is another thing I'd never seen before. And he wasn't quite. I don't know if he saw that Vahiva touched the plate or not, or if he just guessed that when he called him safe, but. It was the most pregnant pause that I've seen at a Razorback game. We're just like waiting. All right, he's over the. What is he? Safe. It was really fun. It was an entertaining play, and also the thought that Mizzou these were in that little Bermuda Triangle, like 3 little flares that fell into the very same spot. It was almost like the scene from Major League when the Indians can't catch a pop up in short center and 3 of them drop in a row. That's kind of what I felt I was watching yesterday. Third down goes to the Pittsburgh Pirates now look, they do so many things to honor Roberto Clemente at the Pirates ballpark. The bridge in center is named the Clemente Bridge. The wall is 21 feet tall because he wore number 21. There's a giant statue of him out in center field. They play videos of Clemente every game. This wasn't a matter of them not paying any attention to Clemente's legacy there, but look, they put a logo of Clemente in the right field corner last year. It was the only year it was there, and then they took it down to put up a vodka seltzer ad. What you can't do is take down things that you put up to honor legends, no matter if it's up a year or 2 years, because that's just going to piss people off. So, and it just fits with the Pirates, too. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but in Pittsburgh, it feels like it is, and Clemente's kids are all upset about it, but they honor the team they honor him in 5 or 6 other ways. So maybe it's a little mountain of a molehill. All right, Matt, go ahead.
All right, my third down. Everton and Arsenal played to a 1-1 draw. Everton, is the Merseyside derby with Liverpool. They're rivals. Arsenal's in second place, so it's one of those deals when you're watching the game, you just want both teams to lose, and that's pretty much what they did. And then my last up goes to how fun has this Final Four been? I don't know what you guys have been watching or kind of how y'all feel about it, but this March Madness, and not just because I have Houston in the national championship and possibly going to win the taco bet. Yeah, I get that. But it's been it really has been extremely fun to watch this Final Four.
Well, I like close games. I like high-level games. I like the feeling like all the teams belong there. And I appreciate the thought, if you make it to the Final Four, then you belong there. But when it's 4 number 1 seeds, it's like, all right, it was predicted by the committee in that sense. In a way.
They got it right?
That's right.
You're kind of, yeah.
That's truly the committee getting it right. When the number 1 seeds all make it to the Final Four, the committee nailed it. Go ahead, Charlie.
Okay, my last up goes to Hagen Smith for a strong debut for the Birmingham Barons. gave up a run in 4 hitless innings, struck out 10, and struck out the last 6 batters he faced. So hopefully it doesn't sound like too long till he'll be throwing up in the show. And my last down goes to torpedo bats. I'm just tired of hearing about them. I watched the Bat Brothers did a comparison on normal bats versus torpedo bats. They basically showed that there was no difference. I know Will Clark doesn't like them. He says they're a crutch for people who can't hit the ball off the barrel of the bat. It's just all you hear about. I'm just done with it.
I thought a torpedo was a Sierra Nevada IPA, Doc. I thought that's
today a National Beer Day. It is.
Well, and I had last time. What was that milk stout that's kind of like a Guinness that you had? What's your favorite beer, Doc?
My favorite beer is Allagash White.
Allagash White.
That's it's like a wheat beer.
That sounds.
But
like
I do like.
That almost sounds like the detergent I wash my clothing in. Does it taste like it? Probably not, because
it does not taste like detergent.
Okay. Well, 3 Up, 3 Down, presented by River Valley Smile Center. Matt's a patient of Dr. Liggett, and you can be too.
Absolutely. Get by there, check them out, man. They have a friendly service and staff, and they'll take real good care of you. When you get there, your family.
Dr. Liggett, on the drive home yesterday, I crushed an entire bag of Nerds gummy clusters, the red ones, and then I brushed my teeth when I was going to sleep, or before I went to sleep, and all the red dye started to come. But I got a little nervous. Like, can you really brush all of that away when you crush? It felt like it was 65 different pieces of candy in those Nerds gummy clusters. They are addicting. Did I really get all the plaque off my teeth?
You can actually use these little disclosing tablets that will highlight everything that you left there. But sounds like it's still red when you got done. May have been a little bit left.
I need to have better effort next time. Need 100% effort, not 97% effort. Doc, tell us what you do at River Valley Smile Center.
We do a little bit of everything. We have a big focus on cosmetics. We really try to help people a lot, improving their smile and looking better. But we do all the regular stuff too: fillings, crowns, extractions, whitening. Do a lot of sleep apnea treatment, implants, sedation dentistry. One of the only places around you get sedation dentistry. But one thing we've really been focused on a lot is the implant-supported dentures. And that's basically dentures that are screwed in. So if you've lost all your teeth and you don't like your dentures you're wearing, we can make dentures for you with implants that you never have to take out, and they look just like your natural teeth.
Dr. Cole Johnson, Dr. Hannah Cabe, and Dr. Charlie Liggett. That's River Valley Smile Center. They're 479-646-0706 or rivervalleysmiles.com. Doc, finish us off.
Come see us at River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family. Go Hogs.
Now stay with Halftime. Back in just a moment.
We'll have a spelling contest. Oh, Ike, what forever do you mean?
This is Halftime.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
This is Halftime.
Hey, this is Dr. Cole Johnson at River Valley Smile Center. You hear my partner, Dr. Charles Liggett, at 12:15 on Halftime every Monday. Dr. Liggett and I have worked at River Valley Smile Center together for 11 years now. Like the Hogs, we have a great team. Do you have a unique dental procedure, a complex dental problem, or are you just nervous about dental work? Come see me for sedation dentistry, implants, implant-supported dentures, as well as cosmetic dentistry. We are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith at the River Valley Smile Center. Check us out online at rivervalleysmiles.com or call 479-646-0706.
For years, Mosquito Joe has been the go-to service for mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas all across Arkansas. Making outside fun again for Arkansans is our passion. But over the past few years, there's been an increasing problem outside.
Fire ants.
Bingo. They're everywhere now. And if you've ever gotten to a pile of them, and I'm sure you have, you immediately know.
Outside is not fun.
Yep. That's why Mosquito Joe is now providing fire ant control. Just one more way Mosquito Joe makes outside fun again.
Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Hey everyone, Braden Webb here at AAA Business Systems in Northwest Arkansas. You may remember me from my days playing baseball for the Hogs. Now I'm hitting home runs for AAA Business Systems and enhancing the ways company do business in our area. If you want to partner with the best office technology provider in Northwest Arkansas, call me today at 479-442-4185. Let's win together, and remember, anything else is just a copy.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals are just people. They've got their lives and families same as you and me. But what happens when big hospitals and insurance companies ask too much of them and make them work too many hours without enough help? You can only stretch something so far before it breaks and people get hurt or even die. That's where I come in. If the healthcare system in our area has hurt you or someone you love, call me. Together, let's make them do healthcare better. I'm Phil Votaw, and you've never met a lawyer like me.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Show me how you get. Tell me how you love.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
I was looking at the rosters of the teams in the national title game, Matt. There aren't any freshmen that are playing here in this game. You know, Auburn had a couple. Duke had a few. So Duke is a team that's built a little bit more on freshmen, just like Arkansas maybe next year. But in terms of tonight's game, the national championship game, there aren't any freshmen that are going to be getting minutes.
I like Coach Cal bringing freshmen in, and I'm for it. The thing is that maybe one of those kids is going to be one and done. The beauty of it is having that continuity, is having them come back and understanding what, this year there wasn't a lot of ways. People didn't really kind of know his way. And so I think that will help, because even if we're getting these 4 or 5 talented freshmen, maybe 1 or 2 of them are going to be, at the best, 1 or 2 are going to be lottery picks. So it's like they're going to come back. So it's not necessarily next year that I think Arkansas would go to the Final Four, but maybe that next year when the kids are coming back and there's a little more age to them, they've been through a college offseason. I just think the time of, if the best freshman that I've seen, really since Kevin Durant, I know we were talking about Zion, Anthony Davis was there too. So those two are probably the 2 of the best freshmen I've ever seen.
Carmelo, maybe.
Melo didn't win it, right? But he won a national title, but he didn't win Player of the Year as a freshman. And I'm with you. Melo, that Carter Knox has some Melo traits to him. I'm not saying he's as good as Melo or he's going to be a Hall of, but he's kind of his game, the way he plays. He's got some Carmelo Anthony in him.
It's just you're going to go into next season with a team that you'll have experience. I mean, I'm expecting you're going to get some of this year's team back, but it's also going to be. I mean, it may end up being one of the youngest teams in the SEC, just like it was this last year, but even younger. I mean, you had 3 freshmen that got plenty of minutes this last year, and we'll count Boogie in that too, obviously. If you're coming in here and you're a McDonald's All-American, like even if it's not amen, there's going to be 4 freshmen that get minutes. Because I would figure, here's the thing about one of those freshmen too, Artail or Retail, or how I got to learn how to say his name, the Lebanese forward. He's 20. He's coming in already playing against older men in the Turkish league or whatever European league he was playing in. So that's a freshman, Matt, that isn't necessarily a freshman's body or even a freshman's mind. It's just, I'm sure it won't be the easiest thing for him making the transition from that pro league just to come and live in the States, but maybe he'll enjoy it. I'm sure he will.
I love it. I probably won't see any of these kids play until the first time they don't play on SEC Plus, so I'm not going to make an opinion based on them playing, Rhode Island Tech. Are beating UNC, a directional North Carolina school like this last year. You're not going to make your opinion on this Arkansas baseball team by a 3-game series against the Missouri Tigers.
That's exactly right.
And so I hope there's a lot of people around here that think that this is the best freshman class ever, or that they're going to take us to the promised land. And so why not? I mean, there's still room to get on. But I haven't seen any of these kids play, and it'll be about 6 months before I even get my eyes on them.
Our Lewis Automotive Group hotline is open for you right now, 877-377-6963. Back to wrap up the second hour after this.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
This is halftime.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of...
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Even if your bracket is busted, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with a free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and MMA, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Get luxury without the splurge with Taco Bell's new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. There's the $5 Classic box, the saucy as ever. The $7 Supreme box, packed with decadent favorites. And the $9 Discovery box brings new indulgences like toasted cheddar street chalupas. It's the Lux you want for less. Choose your $5, $7, or $9 Lux Cravings box only at Taco Bell.
Hey, Northwest Arkansas, we're the Lewis brothers here from Lewis Automotive. We've got some exciting news to share with you today. As you know, during the month of March was our ultimate challenge, and we got some big news.
Absolutely. During the month of March, we set a huge goal of cars that we needed to sell, and we're here to let you know that we not only hit that goal, we exceeded that goal. So we just wanted to say thank you.
Yes, thank you to our employees. Thank you for the families for supporting them during this month, and thank you to the customer for not only buying, but for selling us your vehicle as well.
Thanks for
Use Terra's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
9 hits, 3 doubles, 13 RBIs, 18 total bases, a 706 slugging on base percentage, 1385 slugging percentage. Those are the numbers for Cam Kozel, who drove in 13 runs in the Missouri series and has been named the SEC Player of the Week. Now, this is on the Razorback. This came from the Razorback baseball account. I have to go over to the SEC website just to make sure this is not a co-award, because I mentioned it on the broadcast the other day that he's working on being named an SEC co-player of the week, because that's how things get done. There are co-pitchers of the week. Kate Anderson from LSU, who threw the complete game shutout for the Tigers over Oklahoma, and Liam Doyle, who threw the 6 innings of a 7-inning no-hitter for Tennessee, are co-pitchers of the week. But Cam Kozel is the only player of the week. So that's a surprise in and of itself that they didn't split the award. But good for him. Kozel's on fire. He leads the SEC in batting average, both overall at .417 and in SEC games, where in 12 games he's 25 for 47. That's a .532 batting average. And Logan Maxwell is second in the league in SEC games, hitting .462. So that's something I'll get into later on in this next hour. The confidence, and Matt, you have to know what this feels like, the confidence that you have in all of your teammates that you don't put so much pressure on yourself to do something because you feel everybody else can.
It's contagious, Phil. It is. You know, it's whenever you see your brother have success, man, it makes the juices get going. Nothing I used to love better than seeing Fred Talley or Cedric Cobbs break one for 48 yards. You know, like it just gets everybody. That's why we play the game. You know, you're happy for your teammates. It's that's awesome.
Got a quote from DVH from our pregame talk yesterday before the doubleheader about exactly that, which I think goes a lot towards why a team will play well. How do you define what contagious offense is in baseball? I think what Dave talks about is part of it. 877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Also have Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, about 20 minutes. Into hour number 3 on a sunshiny Monday, and thank God for that. Right back after this.
It's Brad and Stephanie here, owners at Mosquito Joe. Stephanie, lots of people ask us how we ever got involved in Mosquito Joe. Tell them what you told me years ago when we first started.
I said if you figured out a way to keep the mosquitoes out of our yard without coating ourselves and kids with bug spray, then sign me up.
And if this works, we have to share this with our friends and neighbors.
To this day, that's the mission of Mosquito Joe. It's our passion to make outside fun again for all Arkansans. Whatever's bugging you outside, we've got the solution.
Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals are just people. They've got their lives and families same as you and me. But what happens when big hospitals and insurance companies ask too much of them and make them work too many hours without enough help? You can only stretch something so far before it breaks and people get hurt or even die. That's where I come in. If the healthcare system in our area has hurt you or someone you love, call me. Together, let's make them do healthcare better. I'm Phil Votaw, and you've never met a lawyer like me.
Equipment down? Got a leak? Lost pressure? Don't let hydraulic problems slow you down. At Central Hydraulics in Fort Smith, we've got the power to keep you moving. From hoses and fittings to full system repairs, our expert team delivers top quality service fast. Central Hydraulics specializes in hydraulic pumps, cylinders, and custom-built solutions, so you can get back to work. Heavy machinery, farming equipment, construction rigs, if it runs on hydraulics, we've got you covered. Visit Central Hydraulics today or call 479-646-0471 for fast, reliable service.
Picture this. You arrive at your hotel. You have an important online meeting lined up with clients from all across the country. You have your laptop open, ready to begin, and the Wi-Fi is so terrible, you can't even connect. These types of stressful situations happen all the time, but they don't have to. When you book a room at La Quinta by Wyndham, you have access to their free high-speed Wi-Fi, so you can take care of those critical emails, join your meetings on time, and even unwind by streaming your favorite shows without having to worry. Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you shine. Book direct at lq.com.
Hey, it's Matt Jones. Join me, Phil, and Dr. Charles Liggett every Monday at 12:15 for my favorite segment, 3 Up, 3 Down.
Well, my first up is hog baseball. Parker Coyle with the immaculate inning. I read that it was 3 times more common to have a no-hitter than an immaculate inning.
I'm a patient there, and you can be too. 3 Up, 3 Down is presented by River Valley Smile Center. Visit rivervalleysmiles.com or give them a call at 479-646-0706. That's River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, the weather will be dry and quiet. In fact, we're going to stay pretty quiet through midweek. An increase in the sunshine. Our high temperatures today in the lower 60s. A little frost tonight. Overnight lows in the mid to upper 30s. Sunshine with us on Tuesday. High temperatures Tuesday near 65 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. To ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Dumps it underneath. Golden shot blocked by Brazil.
Oof. Woof. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. Oh, ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. You're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah. I said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
But they were one racer back.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Back into halftime here on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com and the Hit That Line Now app. Phil Elson, my partner Matt Jones, Christian Johnston, our hype man and producer C. McMahon in the producer's chair. That's right. I was watching Carson last night. Never saw, no, I did. There was a little bit of laughing from McMahon in the background. Carson did a hilarious skit. I can't remember all of it, but he dressed as somebody that looked like he should be, from like fishing in, like ice fishing in Minnesota. So the outfit on and everything, and has that same sort of northern accent. And I think this was 1977, an episode from 77, the year I was born, 48 years ago. He insulted all 50 states in the union in this. And so I did hear McMahon in the background. I heard There were a couple of those back there.
Did he use the same one that he said, why did the Iowa Hawkeyes change their field to field turf? Because the Nebraska cheerleaders would stay around and graze after the game for too long. Did he use that one?
I think I've heard that one about Texas A&M.
Yeah. That's one of the first Carson jokes I remember, yeah.
877-377-6963 for calls and texts. And for some reason, BE thinks that there's a real Texter of the Week award. I guess we could try to figure that out at some point. Do a 3 up, 3 down. We got to have a Texter of the Week. It would probably be between BE and JT on a routine basis.
Yeah.
Chris in Springdale. Scott the Tortilla guy has been coming in really strong since baseball season started, especially with some – like he's dropping baseball stats on me about this. He said Arkansas scored more runs with 2 outs than Missouri did for the entire series.
I know you don't – I know that as far as like belief, and belief is a real thing, and I know there's a little bit of belief, not getting the horse in front of the cart right now. Are you starting to believe this team is good enough to, go to Omaha and actually this could be the team that wins his national championship?
Yes, this is a team that has the kind of ability in every aspect of the sport to compete at that level. Whether they get there or not, I don't know.
Hey, we saw Duke not win it this year, right? They're the best team according to all the matrix and everything. You got metrics matrix too, but so Arkansas's kind of they're the best. I mean, from what it seems like, they have some action stars and those bats work.
So kind of what this leads into. We've talked about Cam Kozel last week, SEC Player of the Week. You count up, not the weekly awards, but just who has been on a tear or a run or gotten going, as Dave likes to say. And at any one point, there's about 6, maybe 7 hitters. And right now, you're looking at 1 through 9 that are getting the job done. I brought that up with DVH before yesterday's game.
Cam's on a roll right now. We've had some guys do that. We've had, if you go down our lineup, you talk about Cahillo was on a huge roll for a while. Behava got on one. You talk about Iredell for a while, Carey just for the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And we haven't had like 5 guys on one, but it seems like we've had 1 or 2. And, if you get more than that going, you can have some fun.
Well, it also seems to help the whole team feel confident about who's in the batting order. And I wonder if that's part of putting together good at-bats, is knowing that whoever is around you in the batting order is going to do the same thing.
I agree 100%. You can stack up good at-bats. It wears down pitchers. It bothers them. They're looking, oh, no, that guy's coming up. He can hit. That guy's coming up. And they really don't have a break. They thought they had a break the bottom third of our order, but the bottom third's done great the last couple of weeks. And, it's been a threat 1 through 9, and that's what you want offensively.
So where Dave answered that was more about how the pitcher views it, that it's a really difficult lineup to go through. But if I think about baseball and hitting being so mental, sometimes you put pressure on yourself to do more than maybe any pitch that you have an ability to swing at in a single at-bat that you can do with. And that's when you see guys chase out of the strike zone. That's when you see guys, I think, get crossed between speeds because they're overthinking things and thinking that has to be the guy to get it done. Because if I don't get it done, nobody else will. Or the guy behind me, I don't really think he's a great hitter, because look at what he's done throughout the season. That's not how this team operates, because it's right there in front of them. The evidence is there. 1 through 9, they're putting together good at-bats, and I think part of it, it's the talent and the ability to put good at-bats for all of their teammates that kind of helps each individual hitter do the same thing. It's like a cycle that just leads to another good at-bat to another good at-bat and pass it down the line. And I feel like, Matt, maybe this is not exactly the way to put it, but that can also go a little bit to, like on an offensive line, and you'll point to the idea that the weakest link, you're only as strong as your weakest link. You've got to trust everybody on that line to be able to move together in unison and take care of your assignment, because maybe you're thinking while you're worried about your assignment, hey, the guy on the other side of the line is really struggling. You can't worry about that. And that's what this lineup doesn't worry about. They know that anybody in that 1 through 9 can get the job done. And I think it leads to them just going up without any pressure.
Well, here's the thing, too, Phil. Now, whatever your tendencies are, whatever the scouting report is, and you talk about offensive line, I'm sure things is with hitters. They know where you don't like the ball. They know where not to miss. It's just, do they have talent to do that? Same thing with an offensive line. You have a weak spot, I 100% promise you that defensive coordinator knows it, and he's going to attack it.
Well, and so on April the 7th right now, there is no weak spot in the batting order. And
you're like the Arkansas Dodgers, yeah.
Yes, well, they did lose a couple of games over the weekend. The Dodgers actually did lose. The Hogs haven't lost an SEC game in 3 weeks since the first game against Ole Miss. And I think Ole Miss is a good team, but when you see what's coming up in the next few weeks, now you do have to go to Florida, and man, for the struggles that A&M has had, and who knows if they turned it around by sweeping the doubleheader with Tennessee on Saturday, but nobody would have expected that even if Florida's all banged up, that they're going to be 1-11 in the SEC. But you get a Georgia team this weekend that can just swing it, and you get them in their ballpark where they're really, really difficult. And after that, then it really gets difficult. I know everybody knows the way that you finish the season, and this is where you start to think about how you measure up against other teams that you may play in Omaha if you get there. Texas, LSU, Tennessee. And maybe Georgia's got the same thing, but I wonder about Georgia's pitching to get there. But potentially Georgia's a team that could compete in the College World Series. Have you played a team right now that maybe will compete to get to Omaha? I think Ole Miss may have a shot. Georgia may have a shot. Missouri, no. Vandy, don't think so. Carolina, no. You're number one right now with the understanding that, is this a team like the 2021 team that didn't lose an entire series? I actually think this team's better. I think this year's team in 25 is better than that 2021 team. What they don't have is a single Superman that everybody's looking to lead the way and be the hero, because they all expect somebody else can be the hero. And that's my point here. Everybody in that lineup, all the pitchers on that staff, they have belief that somebody else on the team, it doesn't have to be them, someone else can do it. But if it does come to that individual player, that guy can take care of it himself. 877-377-6963 calls and texts on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Alan's a little concerned with Gabe Gackel's struggles. And that's legit. Gabe wasn't great on Saturday, but he was let down by his defense a little bit. And that's where there was a little bit of sloppiness in the first game of the doubleheader. There was a double play ball that he got that went right underneath Sousa's glove, and that should have been a double play and would have stemmed what led to 2-run scoring. But there was a leadoff walk later on. I'm not too concerned with Gackel because they usually do make those plays behind him. But point is well taken, because he hasn't been as good as people would have thought that he would be. But I do think he'll work to get there. And this isn't a team that necessarily needs the pitching staff to allow like less than 5 runs a game. And this next weekend, I think that'll be the sort of games you're playing in. I would expect you see at least a couple of games where both teams score 5 or more runs. So it's going to test Arkansas's bats in a way, just because the opponent can answer in a way that I don't think Vandy could or South Carolina could. Ole Miss could. So this next weekend it's not what the whole season's built on, but I do think it's the best team that they've played so far. Hey, delicious things at Andy's Frozen Custard. Thinking about something sweet and delicious, something that tops off a lunch or dinner, and Andy's Frozen Custard has you covered with the greatest frozen treats around. Thinking now about the original Straw Anna Sundae, frozen custard covered with delicious strawberries and sliced bananas. It's available at all the Andy's Frozen Custard locations, walk-up or drive-through, always ready to serve you. You'll find them in Fort Smith, in Conway, and in North Little Rock. That's Andy's Frozen Custard. After the break, we've got Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South to join us on Halftime.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, home of the Lewis Guarantee. Richard Davenport on the Morning Rush is brought to you by House of Webster and Rogers.
Usually when I do have some toast, I do that apple butter. Or even a bagel, I'll throw it on the bagel. When you have sodium, something that has a lot of salt, and you add some sweet, it's pretty good.
When it comes to flavor, nobody does it better than House of Webster. Locally made jams, jellies, salsas, and sauces for over 90 years.
Clark, it's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year. That it is, Edward.
At Mosquito Joe, our passion's making outside fun again. One of the most popular ways of achieving that goal is with a mosquito misting system. Mosquito Joe misting systems can be installed discreetly around your backyard, patio, boat dock, anywhere you're getting bugged.
The really cool thing about Mosquito Joe misting systems is that they mist automatically every day when mosquitoes are most active. And, if I want to, I can operate the system on my phone with a super easy-to-use app.
Mosquito misting systems. Just one more way Mosquito Joe makes outside fun again.
Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Picture it. It's a day like any other. You're stuck in traffic on Rogers Avenue during rush hour. You're just ready to get home and relax with your family. And then, just like that, your life can change in an instant. And you're going to need a lawyer to make it right. I'm Phil Votaw with Phil Votaw & Associates. If this happens to you, call me, 479-434-6200, or online at votawlaw.com. I'm Phil Votaw, and you've never met a lawyer like me.
The Solid Rock has been locally owned for over 46 years. When was the last time you were there? So much more than a bookstore. They have Christian t-shirts, church supplies, Bible studies, devotionals, home decor, gifts, and of course, a large selection of Bibles. And Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Now, you can get custom laser engraving on select gift items and some Bibles. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock is your source for faith-based books, music, clothing, and more. The Solid Rock, 452-4844.
Decisions aren't hard when no matter what you choose, you win. Like with Taco Bell's new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. Choose from the $5 classic box with iconic favorites like a beefy 5-layer burrito, the $7 Supreme box with the chicken chalupa Supreme, and more. Or find new obsessions in the $9 Discovery box. Get yours at Taco Bell today. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
I know you like it when I say your name. If I let it start, I think you will be ashamed. I've been casting spells with no self-control. You better laugh till it was swallowed whole. I know you miss me when I'm not. Heard it from the others, but not from your mouth. You know I love it when you smile. Everyone's around, it's no one.
Make sure to follow Follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Connor O'Gara is the national senior columnist at Saturday Down South. Joins us every other Monday on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Connor, how you doing today?
Doing well. First time in, 11 years that we're talking about an SEC basketball team playing in the national championship. Before we ever played a college football playoff game, that's what we're talking about. That's the last time an SEC team played in the final game of the NCAA tournament. But here we are, and it's going to be a darn good one tonight.
Well, and the SEC team's favored by 1.5 on the Bet Saracen app. I really wouldn't know which way to go at this here, but it is two teams of differing styles, one on an offensive juggernaut, the other a great defensive team that just seems to out-hustle a lot of other clubs. How do you break this one down?
Nobody cares about my bracket, but in my bracket I did have this championship game with Florida beating Houston, and I think everybody's going to look at what Houston did the other night to Duke and just say, well, they're unbeatable. If you can have that type of resilience down the stretch, and if you can do the things that they did defensively, then that's our national champ. And it's not going to be surprising if that plays out. But I think Florida, with the experience that it has, the age that it has, is a much different matchup to close out a game than Duke was. And one of the things that truly stands out with this Florida team is how they just do not blink in these moments. That run that they went on to start the second half against Auburn was everything that we've been talking about for Florida for the last 2 months, really dating back to that regular season game against Auburn. And so there's a scenario tonight in which it could feel like, man, Houston's up 25-16. Look at all of these shot makers that Kelvin Sampson actually has on his team. Cryer looks like he's having one of those types of games. And then you're going to blink, and Florida's going to be back within it. And all of a sudden, Walter Clayton Jr. is making these clutch shots. And you're left wondering, well, what exactly did we just what did we just witness in terms of a level of greatness? I think Florida is capable of repeating that success, and I think that's ultimately what's going to happen tonight.
Houston kind of struggled early against Duke, and I guess Duke can do that to anybody, but they were able to bounce back. Which one of these two teams, as far as Florida or Houston, because I think it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes. Houston's not going to blow anybody out. Florida can go on a 10-0 run at any time. So I think it'd be real similar to the Final Four, how it'd come down to the last 2-3 minutes. But which one of these teams do you think had the harder time winning last night? And we know college kids, one thing they aren't is being consistent a lot of times. And do you think one of these teams could have a letdown tonight?
It's possible. I mean, I don't think we're going to get a dud. I just can't imagine a scenario in which we get a dud. That would be the most surprising result. And, really Florida's been this team that you can watch in the first half and go, oh, they just don't have it tonight. They're turning the ball over. They look so sloppy. What is this number one seed that we've been hearing about that's so battle-tested? And, man, are they going to really play in a game in which they're trailing the entire time? But that you just can't count them out. And to me, it's the same story with Houston. I mean, to overcome that lead down the stretch, I don't know if I've watched a game like that where at the 5-minute mark with 5 minutes left, I was so surprised, wherein the final result surprised me that much. It was inevitable that Duke was winning that game. I mean, the block that Cooper Flagg has down the stretch and how hard Houston worked to be able to still just come back in every phase of the game. To me, I don't think a dud is in store for any of them. I think these teams are so battle-tested and know what it takes to close out a game. So I just don't think that we're going to get a scenario in which we look back on what these teams did on Saturday and say, oh, well, that's clearly impacting their performance tonight.
Will Walter Clayton, the guard for Florida, Connor, will he be the best player on the floor tonight?
I think so. I wrote something for Saturday Down South this morning about why I think this is already one-upped the Kemba Walker run in 2011. And, not that I have a lot of UConn fans in my mentions. One of my good friends is actually a UConn grad, but that's a different story for a different time. there are really difficult comps to make in college sports. And one of the ones I'll never make is I'm not going to compare anybody to Cam Newton. And it's almost in that regard what Kemba Walker did in the NCAA tournament in 2011, the same school year that Cam Newton did what he did at Auburn. And people have been so hesitant to compare anyone to it because we remember what it was like, the shot making, the fact that he went through the Big East that year. And the reality is you're not going to compare someone to that unless they go on a generational run. Well, Walter Clayton Jr. is on a generational run, and the stat about him being the first player since Larry Bird to have 30-point games consecutively in the Elite Eight or later is just absurd. I mean, it doesn't even really scratch the surface of how good he's been if you just look at that number. So to me, he is the best player on the floor. If there's anybody that's going to make a big-time shot tonight, it's going to be him. And I just feel like you're going to have to do everything and then some to get that guy off of his game and to make him somewhat phased down the stretch.
I was trying to think of a school that's moved from one conference to the other and actually upped their game in a way that Houston basketball did, but I was trying to think about a football aspect of it. Who would be a school that has moved up in
SMU maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that would be about right. That's the only, I thought maybe Oregon, but I mean, they were moving from a power league to a power league and still stayed at a really high level. But SMU, I think that's the right answer, Matt.
Yeah, SMU is definitely would be the prime example of that, in a current context. I think 2012 Texas A&M with Johnny Manziel going into the SEC, that was something that everybody was totally thrown off by. I mean, it was supposed to be a team that was going to fade into the middle or even the back half of the SEC in what was expected to be a really strong year in the conference. And they ended up having their best finish in the AP poll since 1939 that year, obviously with the Heisman Trophy winner. And A&M was on the map, off and running year one in the SEC. So you're right, though. It is extremely rare, and it speaks to just how good Kelvin Sampson is, which I know as Indiana guys, that pains us to be able to say. But man, I mean, how could you not just applaud what his team, his culture has looked like in the NCAA tournament, not just this year, but really in the 2020s as a whole. So, yeah, their ability to step into a very respected basketball conference that is the Big 12 and look this good from wire to wire, it's nothing short of remarkable.
Hey, Connor, I'm looking at this NFL draft stuff, and who is the first SEC player that the top 5 players they have are not SEC guys. Then you kind of get a couple SEC guys. Who will be the first SEC player taken in any way? I don't think there's any way possible Travis Hunter falls below the New York Giants picking at number 3. Any way Travis Hunter falls out of the top 3?
It's possible. I mean, it's possible he ends up going 4 to the Patriots or something like that. I think everybody would roll their eyes collectively if that were the case. But no, I would agree. I would say that's probably the most likely scenario. Maybe the Giants trade out of the pick or something like that. Someone moves up to get Shador. I could definitely see something like that playing out. But, it's going to be interesting because for a while, I thought the pretty obvious answer to that question was, well, it's going to be Will Campbell. And then we get into the pre-draft process. We start talking about arm length and all that other useless garbage. And all of a sudden people are like, well, no, he's not going to go in the top 10. And I think that question is truly wide open. I mean, Andrew Membu, the tackle from Mizzou, who's, maybe he's going to play guard at the next level. He's going to be a candidate that could be going off the board first among SEC players, which is kind of crazy to think about. I think there's definitely a market for a guy like Jalen Walker who could step in. And, we all saw what the Georgia edge rusher did in that Texas game, especially both times, really. And I don't think anybody would be surprised to see a player in that spot come off the board early. But it does feel really wide open. It is particularly wide open because there's not that elite SEC quarterback in this class in the way that there was last year with Jaden Daniels. So, yeah, I mean, I think that question going down to the wire is going to be one that we don't really feel like we have a good grip on.
We'll get more into the draft with you in a couple of weeks when we have you again, because that'll be just a couple of days, I think, before it starts. But today's a huge day in college sports, Connor, not because of the college basketball championship. That's one thing. But this settlement, the House settlement, supposed to be approved today in Oakland, California by Judge Claudia Wilkin. I mean, we're all assuming that she approves this, but I know she's also said she's not ruling immediately from the bench. She's letting other parties state their case, which also includes some athletes who do not approve of the settlement themselves. But there's no way this doesn't get settled, because if it's not approved, college sports is kind of crap out of luck.
I would agree with that. I mean, it seems like such a foregone conclusion. We've all been assuming, okay, this is going to be the landmark event that's going to then set the stage for, the revenue sharing era, and we're going to get this new era in which we're talking about, the $20 million that's distributed across college programs, not just within one sport, and we'll be kind of off and running. And, this is going to be the thing that kind of makes it right. And that's what everybody's been arguing about for years is, well, it's not right that if you played in a specific era, you won't reap the benefits when we see the financial reward that they were able to get as a result of that. So, yeah, I mean, look, they might drag this out a little bit, but I'll be stunned if we don't get a very near ruling on what this House settlement is going to look like and how it breaks down for all these former athletes.
It's National Beer Day, Connor. What's in the fridge, if there is beer?
I'm a Kona Big Wave guy. It's so underrated, guys. Like,
that's a good one. That's a good choice.
I love me some Liquid Aloha. I just think it's one of those beers that if you don't think to get it, you probably won't, because there's always an easier
option.
option.
It's like $2 more. Yeah.
But it's better. It's just better. I've not run into an occasion in which I don't want that. And to me, that is the mark of just a regular go-to. So with all due respect to Sam Pittman and his love for Miller Lite, I realize the people that I'm talking to in the great state of Arkansas, but Kona Big Wave is just, it is truly elite in my opinion.
It's a little bit of a Liquid Aloha.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say.
Sounds delicious, Connor. Thank you very much. Talk to you in a couple
Gentlemen,
weeks.
appreciate it.
You got it. Kona Big Wave. You're going to taste those extra $2.
First time I went to Hawaii, and you go in there, that's the first beer I had when at my first trip to Hawaii.
I want to tell you about the Rebel Crawfish, a tackle box staple for decades. Now they've got the next generation, the matte series of Rebel Crawfish. 4 all-new ultra matte colors. They eliminate glare, enhance realism, mimic a natural crawfish like never before. Still has the iconic shape and swimming action, but now with a stunning matte finish. The all-new matte series of Rebel Crawfish. It's available at Walmart, Bass Pro, Dick's, and local tackle shops everywhere. Rebel, catch fish anywhere. Number for halftime, 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Back into the home stretch right after this.
When you go to Subway, do you give them an extra $1 so you can get a long straw and get that tuna juice?
This is halftime.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
At 810 Billiards and Bowling, we've got everything you need for a good time. Drink up, chow down, rack 'em up, and knock 'em down. In other words, be social. Join us for happy hour every day from 3 to 7. Catch the big game on our giant screens and check out the newly expanded arcade and mini golf. Oh, and don't forget to try the new double-decker burger. It's a game changer. Let the fun begin at 810 Billiards and Bowling, 5609 Rogers Avenue, Suite F in Fort Smith. See you there.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
It's Kubota Orange Days at Gray Brothers Equipment with interest rates as low as 0% for 84 months and reduced pricing on all Kubota inventory. It's time for your new Kubota at Gray Brothers Equipment. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon. Now through 6/30/25, see Gray Brothers Equipment or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
If you only have a 401k, you're not getting the most for retirement.
Wait, what?
Add a Robinhood IRA on top, then they'll boost it by 3%.
You can do that?
And if you transfer in any retirement account, you get 3% on top of that.
Is there a limit to the match?
No limit. Robinhood Gold gets you the biggest contribution match of any IRA on the market. Sign up for Robinhood Gold at Robinhood.com/boost by April 30th. Subscription fees apply.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires gold for 1 year from first match. Must keep IRA for 5 years. Match on transfers subject to additional terms and conditions. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
If you only have a 401k, you're not getting the most for retirement.
Wait, what?
Add a Robinhood IRA on top, then they'll boost it by 3%.
You can do that?
And if you transfer in any retirement account, you get 3% on top of that.
Is there a limit to the match?
No limit. Robinhood Gold gets you the biggest contribution match of any IRA on the market. Sign up for Robinhood Gold at Robinhood.com/boost by April 30th. Subscription fees apply.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires gold for 1 year from first match. Must keep IRA for 5 years. Match on transfers subject to additional terms and conditions. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It won't be long before I'm heading your way. It won't be long before we're back in my place. It won't be long. It won't be long. It won't be too long. It won't be too long. Only wanna be with you. I only wanna be with you.
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, I did watch Tombstone over the weekend, guys. I know it wasn't assigned to me, but I figured we'll put the thing on, we'll watch it, see if I remember it being as good as I thought it was when I was a teenager, and it wasn't. It's still good, don't get me wrong. I was still entertained by it. I thought the performances by Val Kilmer and who was the Powers Booth and Michael Biehn.
What about Billy Bob Thornton's real quick?
Very small part in it.
No, leave it there.
I thought it was really good. I didn't think it was a very well-edited movie. And I have to say, was Kurt Russell really a very good Wyatt Earp? I have no problem with Russell. I like him. It's just, to me, Kilmer was the reason to watch the movie.
Where's Wyatt? Down there walking on water.
All right, Seaburger Movie Unit homework. What was your choice of Val Kilmer movies to watch over? Because we've decided Tombstone is not a Val Kilmer movie. He's just in the movie. I thought he was the best in the movie, but what Val Kilmer vehicle did you decide to watch?
I watched Heat, man, and it had my attention the whole way. I was like waiting for something to happen.
You a Ashley Judd or Sharon Stone fan, or you can say both, but it'd be better if you chose one.
I feel like maybe before you answer that question, maybe watch Double Jeopardy followed by
Sharon
Basic
Stone.
Instinct, and then tell us what you think.
Sharon Stone. At least from that movie, basically.
Fair enough.
I guess so. So, I mean, but it was long. Did you make it through the whole thing? Did you need an intermission?
In one setting, or yeah?
Not in one setting, but I definitely finished it. Yeah, I mean, there was that scene where they were just having like a all-out war in the middle when they were trying. I guess they got busted trying to rob that place, and
You got to see Dane Cook stand up, and this is the only time I'd ever tell you to see Dane Cook stand up.
Did you really? You said
but
that.
But he has a scene where he's talking about this movie Heat. He's like just he's doing what Val Kilmer, because it's so iconic, and yeah, it's not that Dane Cook's funny, but that little clip right there, kind of funny.
All right. Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did it. We'll figure something else out later this week. But let's try to have homework that's not based upon a famous actor dying or anybody dying.
I know we had a Gene Hackman one just too. That's kind of
Yeah, famous actors die. We end up going back and watching the movies that we remember them for. But I'd like to maybe find a more positive reason, more living reason to see homework, to study something. And I'm just not quite sure what it is yet. It's National Beer Day. I mean, you could have a whole homework based on beer this next weekend. Maybe you could get your own brew kit. You ever brew beer, Matt? I never tried that. I don't really think
we
I
were
could trust
talking about
myself.
Breaking Bad earlier, and we've all seen Breaking Bad. So
Well, that's
what
brewing.
does Hank
That's-
Schrader? What does
that's a
Hank
whole
Schrader
different
do?
kind of a
He's
brew.
bottling his beers, and they start popping. We've all seen Breaking Bad. I have a feeling that if I tried to do that, that's probably it'd probably waste more than I'd actually get.
I think I'd trust C Movies beer before I would even trust my own beer.
man, I'm pretty. I'm not too picky. I just, I don't like real cheap beer that doesn't. I mean, I don't have anything against it.
See wheat and barley.
Like I'm not a fan of Natural Light, but I'll drink it. As long
You
as
drink your beer with the pinky finger out?
No, not quite.
Used to when I worked at the Travelers, my boss.
First class or no class.
We didn't sell these beers, but my boss, Bill Valentine, he loved the idea of. Now, that was back in the day when we would supply the press box with beer. This was for the writers or anybody else that was up there. If they wanted to drink a beer during the game or after the game, they were perfectly welcome to do it. It was one of the things that I did as the broadcaster. I didn't just make the stat packs and the game notes and sell advertising and make the program and handle the website and all of that. I also stocked the press box with beer. It was one of those mini fridges. But we could fit, hey, how many beers can you fit into a mini fridge? About 24 of them if you jam them in there side by side.
I'm not a big fan of IPAs. I know that.
No Sierra Nevada torpedoes.
A little too pine coney for you?
Like real dark and
hoppy is what it would be.
Yeah, I can't.
Pine coney, hoppy, same thing. We've had 3 different people text in that say their favorite beer is a free beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, "What's your favorite beer?"
If somebody buys me Natural Lights, I'll drink it. But
Well, then I'm told there are beers that are better to drink when they're not cold and they're warm, and I don't know what beers those are.
Those
And Matt's
German
making a
beers?
face.
Yeah, those German. When I went to Germany for a while back to Champions League final, I told you 10, 15, 12, I don't know, but you drink beer and they would come in this big boot. They're all like as huge. I mean, they're all just the biggest, and there's 12 inches of foam on it, and then you get a little beer, but they were all a little bit warm. And they all had that grapefruit kind of like after floral type flavor at the end. Those German beers did.
So the beers that we would put in the press box, and we didn't sell them at that point, but this was just for the writers. And Bill just had, I guess it was a nostalgic thing for these beers. We put Ham's beer in the press box, Schaefer Light, which was literally just like drinking like seltzer water, but the bubbles were too light. It was disgusting. Old Swilwaukee, PBR. And PBR still has a real following for it, but that's where I realized PBR, all it does is just turn my stomach upside down.
It's too malty. It's one of those, like what you're saying. It turns you sour after you drink 2 of them because it's a malt liquor. It's not a regular. Yeah.
And Schlitz.
I used to be big Corona. Used to be Corona and a lime, like when years ago. I guess that coronavirus might have kind of stalled a little bit on the Coronas, huh?
Coronas, I think, were surpassed by Modelo. Isn't Modelo like the most? I think that's become the most popular beer in the United States.
When they make those micheladas, when you go there, you get a Negra Modelo and have them make it with the darker beer.
The first time I ever had a michelada, it was El Paso. I was sitting next to Bill and my dad. I'd never heard anything like it before. Saw somebody else drinking it. Looked about the most refreshing thing you could ever have. Sea Burger, Sea Mitch. You ever had one of those?
Yeah. Have you had a Michelada?
Michelada?
He doesn't know what this is. This is, so you take the
George Harrison?
You have to have a goblet. You can't put this in a regular beer glass. You can't. It has to be a goblet, which is basically a weapon that's made of glass, and you can fill liquid inside of it. It's huge. You're going to fill it with ice. You're going to squeeze all the juice out of a whole lime into the bottom of it, and then you're going to pour what beer will you throw in there? You want a Modelo in there?
Yeah.
You can get the
Or
32-ounce Corona Familiar.
Ooh, I love those ones.
And then when you pour it in there, you still have about another half staff, because after you drink it down, you want to add some more beer to it.
And then you salt the rim. Voila.
That didn't sound bad.
Doesn't sound bad at all. Now, what about a red eye? Do you think you would try a red eye?
Have you seen the movie Cocktail? That might be the movie he needs. If he hadn't seen the movie Cocktail, that might be the movie he needs to see.
He needs to be able to list to us all of Coughlin's laws. And he really needs to be able to list to us, because we even talked about this when we were at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith a couple of weeks ago. Because didn't Cruz's character work at a TGI Fridays?
That was the first Fridays, yeah.
That was where it all started. Ooh, it's Monday. We don't have to have this fully assigned until Friday, but it does feel like we're going down a road to where he may start to learn about Elizabeth Shue. That's proper education.
That was the first place I ate when I moved to Fort Smith, when me and Ty met up. TGI Fridays, man, it was good.
And then next Monday, when you ask him if he knows what a red eye is, he'll say, and he'll list the ingredients, and we'll continue the conversation.
So there will be absolutely no definition of what the red eye is for you right now. Kevin in Fort Smith wanted to know, and I think I'd said his name a moment ago, Kevin, so I don't know if you had tuned in. Who plays Johnny Ringo in Tombstone? That's Michael Biehn. Remember Michael Biehn? He was in Alien. He was in... Oh, and I thought he wasn't in Flashdance, but it's kind of around the same era. Michael Biehn was his name, Biehn. He played Johnny Ringo, who, of course, was Doc Holliday's #1 nemesis. I'm your Huckleberry.
What about you, Johnny? I already crawfished him.
Chango is a beer that Gavin likes to drink. Troy's big into Corona Premier. Graham, we got 3 or 4 folks who really do love the PBR, although Graham's got a reason for drinking PBR that is kind of gross. I don't think I can really say what it is on the show here.
Eddie Murphy sold that product on Saturday Night Live.
Which one was it? Which product was it?
Was it or was it Chevy Chase that sold the Colon Blaster 3000?
Oh, that's right. Well, I remember the Colon Blow, but that's for National Cereal Day.
No, it was like a Wheaties that you would eat. Like
it
looked
Colon
like
Blow.
It was like I think Eddie Murphy sold it on Saturday Night Live. Yeah,
it was called Colon Blow. That's right. I think Phil Hartman was sitting on a giant pyramid of bowls of cereal in that commercial. And so you grow it. Every city's got its own regional beer. Where I'm from in Pittsburgh, it's Iron City and IC Light, which is absolute swill. It's horrible. Ty's got a friend, and I know he's got a friend who's from Pittsburgh who he hangs out with and lives in Fort Smith. He listens to the show sometimes, and the guy will give Ty a whole case of IC Light. I mean, this is a friend of yours. I thought he would give you something good. It doesn't have to just be cool because it's from Pittsburgh. The stuff's terrible. He made decent commercials, but I'm not buying the beer for the commercial, for crying out loud. Arkansas's got some fun beer, too. I was big into Diamond Bear when it first came out. Now it's been surpassed. Lost 40's all big. Makes good stuff too. What's the brewery that does Blue Wing and Honeybird? Flyway. Terrific stuff. Yeah. Really, really good. So I mean, it's all started in the '90s, and the first craft beer I remember was Sam Adams, and now it's a mass-produced thing, but it's still really good. I'd go with the Sam Adams.
Can't go wrong.
Chris says Yingling is Yingling's not a Pittsburgh beer. Yingling is Pottstown, Pennsylvania. That's closer to Philadelphia. Not a Pittsburgh beer, although it is the oldest brewery in the United States. So Bentonville Brewery is one that Graham likes. Shiner Bock. Now, Shiner beers are really good too, whether it's the blonde or it's their little grapefruit thing that they do. What is that called? A Radler?
Ooh, those Radlers are like 2%. I was in Prague doing a Segway tour, and you're talking about oldest breweries. They're like, this brewery and this formula has been since 845. I was like, is there not a number on that? 45 cents for their local brew there in Prague. It was pretty cool. So I had to have two then.
I've read about, and I want to feel like maybe this is a fantasy for those who love beer. Have I read about this where there are European cities where you have municipal beer taps that go from the brewery
They say in
to
Italian
people's houses?
They say in Italian jail's pretty good. Good food, good wine. That's nothing, it's not too bad.
Probably not all the broken laws lead to that. Maybe a little white collar broken law could help you out if that's what you're looking for. Anyway, National Beer Day. How do you celebrate? You have a beer. I don't really drink much beer anymore. I used to like beer quite a bit. Can't do it too much anymore. But there is a Warsteiner, a big 16-ouncer that's in the refrigerator. Once we're done with youth baseball today and get into the second half of the national championship game, I'll pop that thing. And speaking of youth baseball, good luck to Landon and the Giants today in their season opener for 12-year-old baseball. I want to appreciate the texter that answered in about that. Also want to remind you about I already did that. Don't have to remind you about it. Here's what I'll remind you. We're going to wrap the show up right after this.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is halftime.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Bounce on into Crabtree RV Center in Alma, Arkansas for the best deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Whether you're looking for a motorhome, travel trailer, fifth wheel, or toy hauler, we have them all here at Crabtree. So avoid the madness of crowded cities and hotels this summer by taking your family team on the open road with the perfect RV from Crabtree RV Center. Conveniently located at the junction of I-40 and I-49, family owned and operated since 1950. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Largemouth bass will be spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. One of the best lures to catch them on at this time is the famous Young Dinger. We make them by the truckloads in Fort Smith in 3, 4, 5, and 6 inch sizes, and they are in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the U.S. and all over the world. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Young Dinger.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Save no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
You're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
It's a Woo Pig weekend. Join us on the Hill for Arkansas football's free red and white spring game and autograph session on Saturday, April 19th. Hog baseball versus Texas A&M starts our annual weekend celebration on Thursday night, followed by a Razorback softball series and football's free spring game. For full weekend details, visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com. And we will see you April 17th through the 19th.
Touchdown, Arkansas! Arkansas wins!
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Roller off for the 10th time today. Practice all the things I would say. She came over, I lost my nerve. I took her back and made her dessert.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Wrapping things up here on halftime with this national championship game tonight. 7:50, or like Matt says, and you're right, more like 8:07. But there's not another game earlier that's going to go into overtime ahead of this. Yeah, I don't have it. We'll be fine. I'll watch youth baseball in front of me. I'll get the first half on the phone. The second half once you get home, while I'm drinking a Warsteiner to celebrate National Beer Day. And hey, you got any money you want to put on the game? Bet Saracen's the place to go. Florida favored -1.5 as of right now. All kind of prop bets and parlays available on the Bet Saracen app, Apple iPhone, Google Android, any web browser, betsaracen.com. -115 money line for Florida. The over/under is 141 for the over/under. I guess I got to make a pick for this, and I've gone with Florida from the start. I think Florida will win the national championship. I think they're an incredibly difficult team to tamp down, and as good as Houston is defensively, I just think there's too many options for Florida too. So Matt, I'm gonna go with the Gators today. It'll be an SEC team raising their third ever national championship.
Yep.
banner.
If the Cougars win, I win tacos. So I'm staying with the Houston Cougars. 40th year of Phi Slamma Jamma. Let's bring it on home. Phi Slamma Jamma.
I thought it was really cool seeing Hakeem at the game.
He was the best player on the floor. If they'd have let him play, he still looked like he had a little shake to him.
He still did. He really still did. See you. What do you think's going to happen tonight?
Yeah, I know Houston got that win against Duke, and I didn't expect them to do it. So I give them credit to even make it to this point. But I just think Florida's going to win.
That's what I like to hear.
It would be interesting to see a team like Houston kind of. It's weird because they were a number one seed, but it still feels like they're somewhat of a.
I like it. I'm calling them right now and telling them what you said. That chip on the shoulder just got bigger. I'm saying the unit says y'all ain't got it. You better turn up.
But I'm still going with Florida.
Ooh, I like it.
It's a cool story for Houston. It really is.
It's echoing.
It'd be even better if they won it.
It's already down to San Antonio by now.
Look, but as long as Kelvin Sampson's the coach there, they're gonna be in the conversation. Guys,
I just don't think it's a blowout.
It won't be.
Their defense is too good. Now, if somebody was to blow somebody out, maybe Florida could get up 11 or 12 or something. And if you think that's a blowout, I think the styles make fights, and I think it's going to come down to the last 3 minutes of the game.
But I'll tell you what I won't do, and it's what I was thinking of doing late Saturday night, which was turn the game off with 5 minutes left because it was over. That's it. Duke's in. They've got it done. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. I'm so thankful I kept that game on. Because you would not expect Houston to bounce back and fight back just like that. It's not a matter of fighting. It's just I don't identify them as a team that can wipe out a big deficit as quickly as they did. Florida, I do. But I'm not. You can't give up on this game, no matter what the score is.
No, you're right, Phil. It's like a running team that's ball control that likes to run. They get down a lot early, then it's kind of tough. I think it's pretty similar.
Well, it's been great being back with you. It's been great just seeing the sunshine. I'm going to get outside and just enjoy what that sunshine feels like because I forgot about it for a little bit. Ruskin and Zach are coming up in just a few minutes. Our Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is downloadable very soon, thanks to the one and only C Podcast. Thanks to Eastside Liquor as well for sponsoring the Halftime Podcast. You can visit them in 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, 479-452-7311 for Eastside Liquor. And we'll be back with you tomorrow. So for Matt Jones, for the unit, I'm Phil Elson. Thanks for tuning in. That's halftime. Now get up, get out, and get better.